texture on the water first thing this morning. So that's kind of make it somewhat tricky, but I think these gals are ready to put on a show and get into that next round tomorrow.
Yeah, looking at the conditions so far, it's been extremely competitive, but I mean, how active has the Pacific been so far? This summer, it's been pretty much nonstop. About just a few days out of the year that we've really said, okay, I actually don't want to surf today. That's how tired I am at this moment. So conditions looking fun. We know that we're on, but let's get the official call downstairs on the beach with our very own Rosie Hodge.
Yeah, guys, good morning. I've just grabbed Cole Robbins fresh out of a free surf this morning. Waves are pretty fun, Cole. Super contestable out there.
Yeah, the waves are great this morning. We got 3 swells running. There's kind of a dying hurricane swell, a new long period swell, a little wind swell mixed in from up north. So it's softer today. It's not as dumpy, but there's really good shape. There's good sets, and I think we're going to have an awesome day of surf.
I love that report. Well, we'll be starting with the women's elimination round. You're coming up in Heat 5 of the men's elimination round, which is to follow that. What are you going to do between then that heat and now?
Oh, gosh, probably hydrate. I know the waves are pumping down south. Like, lowers look really good this morning, but I'll probably hang out and root on everybody and cheer and watch the conditions. And I'm really excited and amped up just because we have great waves today. It's good shape, and I think there's going to be a lot of high-scoring heats.
It's fine. Good luck in that heat, and we look forward to it. We'll send it back to you, Mitch.
Thank you, Rosie. Great breakdown right there by Cole. I mean, talking about the swell direction, he's definitely looked at Surfline in the last few days, but he's right. It does seem just a tad softer, which is actually, once again, really good. You have that, short period swell, that northwest wind swell that we typically see this time of the year out here combined for those combo swells, and good matchup to start things off this morning. So the heat has not yet started. We're about a few minutes away from that, but Kelly's Kaleopa'a, she's going to be taking on a good buddy of yours and Lindsay Steinreide.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. Lindsay just coming off a pregnancy, having the beautiful baby girl, Nico. I got to meet her yesterday. They made a beautiful baby, Edward and Lindsay. Yeah, so shout out to her for kind of getting that last minute slide in here into the event. They'll be starting shortly here. Khalees, she's won here in the past, if I'm not mistaken. So she's hoping to kind of have a bit of deja vu, so to speak.
Been one of her best venues when you look at it, statistically speaking, too.
Yeah, so she's hoping things will come together for her. And the girls are just kind of going to hope, both of them like the rights, I think, so they'll probably be sharing a bit of the same peak. But Khalees, good on the lefts as well. Oh,
I mean, she's great everywhere. She's won this event back-to-back for a reason. Back in 22 and 2003. Coming out of Waikiki, over there in Honolulu on Oahu. Still extremely young, too. I mean, she's been doing this for a long time, but she's been successful at it since a very young age, too. Comes from an amazing surfing family. Mom Malia here traveling with her. Dad JP back home. Brother Moses, gotta say what's up to Mo, back home as well. Yeah, 21 years of age. She got 5th last year at this venue. As we hear the horn sound in the background, so the heat officially on. 30-minute heats all day long for both the women's elimination round and the men's elimination round afterwards. So Lindsay won her world title back in 2011. You brought up an excellent point yesterday, Carla, that back then there were very few events when it came to this level of prestige, right? A lot of times the world title was decided with a single event. Lindsay's gone through this, different formats throughout the years too, and as you said, less than 24 hours ago, she got the call to be able to compete, and here she is taking advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, it was a different scenario back in the day, as we say. Just the one event kind of titled a person, and Lindsay Steinreide is one of those. I have to give a shout out to Christy Murphy. I was messaged by Kat Slatinsky, and Christy actually won a title back in 2005. She was a Floridian, is a Floridian, and we were talking kind of about there wasn't many of the Florida kind of sect in there, but shout out to Christy. There's a bunch of ladies that kind of got that in that one event scenario. In those days, we didn't have the full tour going on there, so it's really cool that now we're able to do that, because I think it brings a lot of legitimacy to that final title.
Nobody with a wave yet here in the first minute and a half. Kelly's Kaleopa'a, Lindsay Steinreide. Where is Chris Cote this early on in the morning during heat number 1? Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. I'm over here in the Red Bull Athlete Zone, just pretty much getting starstruck. As you can see over my right shoulder, the icon, David Nuuhiwa. And I just learned something that I probably should have known for the last 20, 30 years. The left right in front of where I'm standing, commonly known as Machado Peak or Rob Reef, whatever you want to call it. Before it was that, it was Nueva's left. So I think, you know, with David Nueva right here, with longboarders in the water, maybe at least for the next few days, we can start calling it Nueva's left again.
I don't disagree with that, Chris. And, you know, not only David right there, you have Bill Sharp right next to you, and he ran the Huntington Beach Surf School for a number of years. But really, I mean, when you look at who's who, this venue has really been an iconic location for that reason. So big thank you to Chris for the morning report for the Red Bull Athlete Zone hit right there. David, obviously a big legend, not only here in Huntington Beach, throughout the surfing world as well, as we did see a ride from Lindsay starting off early. So priority, I would think it's going to be a bigger factor. I'd say positioning an even bigger factor today, Carla.
Yeah, definitely. We can see her kind of scratching into that one there. She works it onto the inside, double up there, stands up there. She gets the 4 steps up to the nose, stretches it up for the 5. She's going to bring it back carefully. Another 4 steps up to the nose, comes off it just in time, but not able to stay glued on. But still, I think she'll be happy just to kind of get her campaign going, get those nerves kind of shaken out and through the tips of her fingertips, so to speak. Yeah, so I think it's a good start now. We have Khalees on the left here. She really is putting it together nicely so far on this one. I spoke a little too soon there. Comes unglued, kicks out. She's going to restart, probably getting herself just outside of Lindsay to snatch that priority position.
Got the slight jinx right there, just a little bit though, but it's early going.
Yeah.
3.33 for Steinreity, waiting on the opener for Khalees Kaleopa'a. So out of Waikiki. Best results when it comes to the rankings, number 2 in the world back at Malibu in 2023. She was actually the number 1 seed heading into those final matches over there at First Point. But I mean, overall, talk about an excellent career, somebody who's been doing this for a number of years and still only 21. Extremely impressive, going left for the first time today.
Yeah, there she is. She gets the 4 steps over the nose, got the toes all the way over there. Nice sweeping cut back. That's where it comes a little bit of a hiccup there. She's not able to kind of keep the flow into that bottom turn and into the next section, so she kicks out, decides she's just going to restart.
It is the best of the heat, though, a 4.1.
6.0. Second place surfer blue, Lindsay looking for the 7.5.
Back at the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico. Major thank you to our official forecast partner, Surfline. The Pacific Ocean has been extremely active so far this summer, with lots of swell for the entire event window. And I mean, you can just see right there, the southern hemisphere has just been producing a ton of waves, and tropical and Hurricane Genevieve is coming from the southern hemi. It'll increase surf later on this week, and bigger surf expected later on. But today, 4 to 6 feet on the faces. This afternoon, slightly dropping off just a little, but the winds pretty favorable. I mean, cross shore this morning, it's pretty light, and then slightly on shore this afternoon, Carla. But later on this week, I mean, no lack of swell. We're getting out in the water ourselves, too.
No, there was a moment when we were heading into the event that it was looking really big, and it was getting a bit nerve-wracking, almost too big. So, yeah, it's nice that there's going to be plenty of surf for the next 4 days for the rest of the event. We're going to see some really great surfing all week.
So big thank you to our forecast partner, Surfline. It started about 40 years ago now, just right across the street, pretty much. That's when you used to actually call into the hotline, and you'd get that pretty much voice memo, and it would tell you the forecast for the day. So Sean Collins, one of the OGs of the sport when it comes to surf forecasting, and because of him, we have Surfline nowadays. 8 minutes on the clock in our first heat of the morning. Khalees Kaleopa'a, the former runner-up to the world title, in the lead with a pair of 6s. Lindsay Steinreity, 2011 world champ, out there in second, needing a 7.5 or better. Got the call up about a day ago. Hey, you want to surf in the comp? Somebody pulled out. Sure, why not? I'm already in the Red Bull Athlete Zone anyway, so might as well put on a jersey and, you know,
give it a go.
and has a chance still. I mean, realistically speaking, a 7.5 for a former world champ who has competed out here multiple times. I mean, I wouldn't say it's an easy score to get, but it's an attainable score.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It wouldn't be completely, I wouldn't be completely surprised. She's a tough competitor. She's an excellent surfer. I think what I sense from her vibe, though, is just, you know, she's always been pretty serious in competition, and I'm seeing on some of the waves, you know, she's got a smile on her face. She's kind of laughing with it. So I think the pressure is off her right now, which in a lot of ways could work to her advantage, you know, and just that calm, that ease, that, you know, lack of expectation can sometimes be the recipe for greatness.
There is a big sense of almost gratitude right there, just with every facial expression that she has. She's smiling the entire time. As we see Malia Ilagan, surfer in red, paddling out for her next heat against Beatrice Conroy. She's from just right up the road in Ventura as well. She's been surfing in your events for a long time now as well.
Yep. Yeah, I've been watching Malia grow up since she was a little thing. I remember spotting her out at C Street in the Cove. She was probably 5 years old, and she was doing all these, you know, walking back and forth and switching, and very serious, very focused on her skill and getting better. And, you know, she's a really driven woman. She's spiritual, and I know that she's, you know, just kind of giving it to God right now. Whatever's in his will be his, and she's going to give it all she can.
Sounds like she's destined for something great, if you ask me. 6 minutes on the clock right here. Steinreide to the south. She's looked left initially, ends up going right, and this wave might have something to offer up. Goes flat right there.
Funny little rib kind of comes up into it, slows it down.
Well, she lost her speed for a moment too, and I think that just made things a lot more difficult to be able to connect to the short break. But still, I mean, she's gaining that distance in between her and Khalees, which really right now, it's been a bit slower out there the last 5 minutes, so sounds like the smart move to play.
Yeah, just kind of keep it busy. She doesn't really have anything to lose at this point. So, yeah, just going for what she can, what looks good. That wave started off pretty nicely, kind of had a bit of a rib in it that kind of slowed things down.
And those are the next heats in the women's elimination round. Sophia Colhane, Story Martinez, heat 3. Great one in heat number 5. Mason Schremer, Liv Stokes. Feel like there is potential to see a brand new champion later on this week right here on the south side of the pier. Siva Gerard taking on Leah Diaz in our final heat of the women's elimination round. So our first one out there of the morning, just under 5 minutes. What do you enjoy more, by the way, Carla? You like being in the booth, or you like doing the beach announcing yourself? Because you're an event director, so there's times that you like being a little involved in everything.
Beach announcing's really hard. It's hard on my throat. It's hard on my voice. It's a lot more speaking. You don't get as many breaks.
Right.
And you can't help but when you're on the beach, because you have more outside noise, your voice tends to carry louder than you really need to. So I definitely like being in the booth. It's always lovely being with you, Mitch.
Oh my,
so
stop.
I mean, shucks. But yeah, no, I like it. I like it all. I mean, you know, I started as a competitor here like Lindsay. I learned a lot of the like background stuff, learning how to judge, tally. It started there. I just found a niche, if you will, for the behind the scenes stuff.
And I mean, I would say for running Queen of the Point and other events that you're involved in too, as many different areas of the job that you can do, more beneficial it is to actually running the event, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do all of it pretty much. I've gotten better at delegating some tasks as the years have gone on. It's always hard in the beginning, but yeah, it's the more tasks you can do, the more you can help everybody out. You know, especially you see a big production like this. So if you can run a remote control and help the brightness on the TV, you know, that's gonna be useful.
Well, this event, I mean, major thank you to our entire production crew. They do an amazing job throughout the 9 days that we actually have the live broadcast, but this event itself, the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico, I mean, when you really think about it, it provides about 1,000 jobs throughout, you know, the three weeks they have of the setup and then the tear down afterwards and the actual 9 days of competition. So, you know, big things for the city, Huntington Beach, of course, but it's surrounding areas right here in the LA metropolitan area too. It makes a big difference for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the basis of surf events, really. It comes down to it. You're coming to a locale, a location, and you want to support and promote the businesses and the services that are in that region.
Support local, that's for sure. It's going to be a busy Sunday right here. Get here early because parking's running out. Here goes Steinreity. 7.5 the requirement for Lindsay. This wave tapering off, does well so far on this one. But nothing critical for Lindsay at the moment on this one. Looking for the double up on the inside. So the footwork's been there. It's just really been the wave that never offered up anything for the surfer in blue.
No, didn't quite stand up with a long enough wall in front of her for her to get that tip time in. But nonetheless, like, she still stands as one of my favorite surfers to watch. She's just really, like, pleasing to the eye. You don't have any flapping hands or arms. And there's a fine line, you know, with when we call a surfer graceful, I feel like that grace is most witnessed in live action, and like a lot of times in a frozen moment in time someone can look graceful because it's frozen, but if you see it in live action, there was actually a lot of maybe flapping.
So you're saying social media, no photos, let's see the video evidence.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, you know.
I got too many photos on my Instagram, so I got to start getting the video evidence. To
No,
maybe just
you've
be like, hey,
you've had a few
lately.
videos lately of you ripping, shredding up. I saw a few.
It's been a good summer.
Yeah.
It's been a good summer, Carla. And,
You've been getting at it.
you know, I think especially with how warm the water's been, you got to try to get out there every day if you can. 60 seconds on the clock, the last of Lindsay. 2.67, not enough. So time running out for her. Kelly's has just been patient since she dropped her last 6, which been very intelligent for the former 2-time event champion, former runner-up to the world title. Cool, casual, and really, I mean, more than anything, it just seems like she's confident right now after having that loss yesterday in the opening round.
Yeah, I think she's just patient. I don't think she has much to worry. If you talk to her too, she's a very she's a cool cat.
She's chill.
She's a super cool cat.
That guy's chill in the Red Bull Athlete Zone. He's going to be surfing tomorrow, but when you get him in the heat, he is difficult to beat. Edouard Del Perro, he'll be competing in men's round 3. Partner Lindsay out there in the water right now in the blue. She's going to say thanks to the event organizers, to Will Hayden Smith and the crew for getting her into the event, and she's going to get a good chunk of cash out of it too. But this young lady, former 2-time event champion, just wanted to come in on and wanting to improve on a 6-point ride. Got the 5 early on. Good style right there to bring it all the way back to the whitewater, and calculated. A great win to start things off this morning. Her mom, Malia, right there on screen. So she's looking to get her 3rd victory right here on the south side of the Huntington Beach Pier for the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico. Kaliopaa through into round number 3. We got heat number 2 coming up when we return to the south side of the pier.
Next heat, hold your positions. Here we go, counting it in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heat number 2 has started. All right, out there, we got all the way from Ventura. Wave also part of the Philippine squad, Maria Oregon. And out there in the blue, all the way out from Australia, Beatrice Conroy. We got long sets coming through. It looks like it's really going to be closeouts. So they're kind of just going to check them out. Hold position. Well, maybe Beatrice taking a look at this one. Might have a opponent. Your goal. Look at that thing. Oh, tunnel time. Maybe going to spit? Come on, show us a little bit, HP. That's pretty clean. Here we go. One coming to the ladies right here on the lineup. Let's see what happens.
The Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico is brought to you by Lexus. Experience amazing. By Pacifico. Live life anchors up. and by Go RV, official recreational vehicle travel partner of the Lexus US Open of Surfing.
It is the first Sunday of the event window right here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico. And things are starting to get crowded down here on the south side of the Huntington Beach Pier. It's the women's elimination round. Heat number 2 out there in the water right now. Malia Ilagan from just up the road in Ventura, California takes on Beatrice Conroy out of Australia. 19 years old, Malia Ilagan, so very young. She did get a semifinal finish at this event last year. Her best result so far to date on the WLT. Meanwhile, Beatrice Conroy, she has surfed as a wild card before over there at Bell's back in 25. Got a 9th place finish, lost to Rachel Tilley, so no shame in that. But big one right here when it comes to the rankings. They want to get started early on, Carla.
Yeah, exciting for both these ladies. I was able to meet Bea in Bell's last year. She's a really good surfer. So here we got the first of Malia. She's been dealing with a knee injury actually for quite a while now, but it looks like it's not giving her any trouble right now. Yeah.
Great carve right there from Malia as well. Fantastic footwork. Touches the tight 5 right there on the inside section. That wave doubled up well, and you mentioned, something yesterday that there's events where you need to start the wave and you need to finish the wave cleanly. Pretty much from start to finish right there. It was a very well-read wave by Malia. But I mean, the age really stands out. You said that you've known her probably since she's about 4 or 5 years old, surfing up over at C Street in Ventura. I mean, now being 19, second year on tour. Impressive stuff for last year's number 14 in the world. Meanwhile, Bea Conroy, surfer at Point Lonsdale in Australia. She won the Egmont Honey Pro to be able to qualify for the Longboard Tour this year. Just a slip on the inside on her opening ride. Still has lots of time, 26 minutes and 40 seconds.
I wanted to go back. We still haven't gotten back to that fin conversation. And every time I see a fin flip up, I'm like, oh, there's a moment, And so like that fin didn't quite have the same rake that we saw from Lindsay's, and it had actually a lot of bass in it. It kind of went a bit more straight up. Still had some rake being the curvature from the base to the tip. Some have less tip, some have more tip, some have a narrower base, some have a wider base, and all of them do different things, and it really does change up a board. Malia here on the replay, she gets those really fast steps up to the nose. She's riding a Wayne Rich. I believe it's kind of the Cole Robbins-like model. Really, I love this wave. It was a great opening wave for her. She gets the 10 at the end there and then rips it around. And even though she falls off the end, I feel like there was an intention to like finish it there. And then Bea here answering back right away, gets nice 2 steps up, 4 steps to the nose. Kind of just holding her ground here. Just kind of a safe turn there as the wave fattens out. She gets a couple steps up to kind of stay in the face. Weaves it around into that next face there. Just comes a little unglued there at the end, not able to kind of get that clean finish that I'm sure she was hoping for, but 2 scores to lock in for both these ladies' campaigns.
Here goes Bea once again. Her second ride, just a quick one in and out, 25 minutes on the clock. So waiting on their openers. Got to be thinking that Ilagan's going to get, if not a large number, a decent one right here. I mean, looking at the replay once again, she just surfed that wave as well as you could have right now. And you mentioned, the knee. It doesn't seem to be an issue at all, and the board looks fantastic too.
Yeah, she snapped a board. She snapped her board before the event on, I believe that was Thursday. She broke her favorite board that she's been riding for a couple years now. Has her backup. Seems to be working okay. She's been suffering a knee injury that's been kind of tough. I believe in between the events, she may be having some surgery on it even.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, but Sam mentioned to me he's done it a couple times. He said had that knee surgery a few times, and she'll be fine. So
unanimous right there. 7-5 across the board.
7-5.
So just under excellence for Malia Ilagan with 24 minutes on the clock. Bea Conroy drops a 2.83. We got some lines coming through, but it doesn't seem like they're interested. So Sam Bleakley's in the Red Bull Athlete Zone with a bit more info on Bea.
Yeah, great stuff, Mitch. Yeah, Bee's a charger. She's from Victoria. She surfs a lot of Bells. She's riding the Sharma Buttonshore boards, designed and tested at Bells, you know, one of the kind of heaviest, rawest waves. And she's also smart. She's studying to be a radiographer, doing her kind of hospital placements at the moment. So she's no stranger to these types of shifty, heavy conditions, and it's a really nice matchup. And I think it's really important as well to emphasize, you know, the cutthroat nature of this elimination round, because knowing that the top 12 surfers will qualify for El Salvador to go for our world title, it's so important to get a 9th or better. And the surfers that lose in this round, they're going to finish with a 17th. They really need to move on to get that 9th, to maybe go to the quarters to get that 5th. You will find that some surfers will be carrying a 9th in their 3 results that qualify for that top 12 in El Salvador. So it's all to play for. You can really feel the nerves here in the Red Bull Athlete Zone. The stakes are high, and there's a lot of variety out there, and we're going to see some people sending it for sure.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate the information, and touches on a great point right there. I mean, big difference in points making it out of this round in comparison to losing right here, but more importantly, you really want to be one of those top seeds heading in, you know, and you get more protected, but those people earn it heading in to the champs, right? So you end up in those top 5, 6 positions. You're looking really good to eventually become world champion later on.
Yeah, and it just helps with that confidence moving into your next event and keeping that momentum going. It's going to be, yeah, I didn't really think about it that at first. Yeah, you're really going to want to place now that the points system is kind of coming back into play, which I like. I like that, so it really makes everybody kind of work hard for it.
Be looking at that one a bit late on it. Has to let it go. 22 minutes on the clock. Just a 7.5 is the best score of the day so far, but Kaliska Leopaga dropped a couple of 6 on her way to advancing, AJ.
That's exactly right, Mitch. Khalees, happy to see you back on the glass here. Tell me a little bit about the strategy for that heat.
Oh my God, yeah. It feels very nice to get a win and just kind of get some good waves. Yesterday was a little bit of a shocker, but I had no problem being in the elimination round. Just another chance to be in the water. So yeah, just wanted to get good waves. Yeah.
And you did get good waves. You executed on the good waves incredibly well. You won back-to-back here in 2022 and 2023. How much familiarity do you feel like you have here at Huntington, and what kind of confidence does that give you?
Oh my God. Huntington is so hard. It's the hardest wave I think we've all ever surfed, to be honest, because it's always changing. So even though I've won back-to-back, I do feel a little more comfortable here, but again, it can change at any minute. So yeah, just being in the water as much as I can.
What are you kind of manifesting? What are your goals for this year so far as you start this season?
Oh yeah, we have a very long season. We go into March of next year, so I'm really just trying to take it one heat, one event at a time, and I just really want to display my best surfing, so that's kind of what I want to cultivate. Of course I want to win, but it's so far from now.
Another heat, a win down. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Congratulations to Kaliska Leopaga. I think good description right there. You know, I just want to go out there, perform. It's a long one. There's a big gap in between this event and the next one over at Bells. That's in early December too. So not getting ahead of herself, I think it's smart, especially considering that even though she has one back-to-back right here, still considers this to be the most difficult venue on tour.
Yeah, it's constantly changing every time. I mean, from yesterday to today, it's a different scenario. So she makes a really good point as far as, you know, kind of how to approach it, not to get too ahead of yourself, not to get too cocky. I think she's just such a great, she's a great spokeswoman. I always love her interviews and stuff. And I like that she speaks to just kind of moment by moment, being present. I think that's really the key to these, to a successful run, whether you win or not. Like she said, I just want to surf some good waves.
Speaking of good waves, just under 20 minutes on the clock. The schedule is looking pretty amazing when it comes to the World Longboard Tour this year, starting off here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing in an HB. Then early December over there at Bells Beach. Urbistondo over in La Union in the Philippines. That's her second home. Carla, January 20th to the 24th. And of course, the Longboard Champs at El Sunsal in March.
It's a good lineup, really. I mean, I think you get a little bit of everything, and then finishing out in El Sunsal is always a fun, you know, topper, a little cherry on the cake there. And I think the lead up with the third event in Urbistondo, it really sets the stage for El Sunsal. They're similar climates, you know, waves are similar, And so, yeah, I think it'll really help set the stage for the championship.
And 12 men, 12 women will qualify for the championships right there in the month of March in El Salvador, just under 19 minutes on the clock. So compared to most of the year right here, especially in the summertime, Southern California, it's pretty much a desert on the beach. It's usually extremely dry. It's been very humid lately. I mean, especially with all that tropical activity. You saw right there in the glass, I mean, there's just water in the air right now, and that humidity, it brings a lot of warmth with it, but it's very different to adjust, and for a lot of people maybe are planning on it being really dry the entire time. Well, a bit of a surprise this year right here on HB.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more sweaty, if you will. California is a very dry climate, but we've had, because of the hurricanes that have been kind of off the coast there, it's brought in a bit more moisture and just created a bit more of a humid atmosphere. Yeah, but today it's a bit cooler today still, and which is nice because it's been pretty hot, pretty cooking.
Oh, it'll get hot later.
It will. No, it's on its way for sure, but I don't mind the little cool morning to start us off.
73 degrees this morning right here in the air. The water temp just slightly colder, but that'll increase throughout the day once the sun comes out too. But, I mean, it is one of the most beautiful places in the world right here. You have, I mean, a stretch of, 150 miles from the border of San Diego all the way to where you live over in Ventura, and just a bit further north than that. It is amazing, and some of the most beautiful coastlines that you'll ever see too.
California, I mean, we've traveled the world. We've been to some pretty spectacular places, but you have to say, when you come back home and we can have those mild mornings and some warm afternoons, in theory you could go up to the mountain in one day and surf in the same day. California does kind of have it all.
Yeah. And then the Mexican food. You can't forget about that. Anytime I travel more than a couple of weeks, I'm already a little bummed.
I'm a real toss-up between sushi and tacos of what I'd have to have on my deserted island. You know what I mean? I think tacos would probably win out because overall we can do more with the taco.
Well, you got variety of salsas too.
That's
and everything.
What I'm saying.
So
we can kind of change the taco up depending on your vibe.
You got to think of Huntington Beach almost as a variety of salsas right there too. You got a bit of everything. You want a little bit of spice. You want something just a bit more mild, and I personally like that there is a beach break on tour. I think that there needs to be one, and it being the first one, it almost, settles the pack and just gets to show you the people that have already been here and competed here multiple times, and those people that just get thrown to the wolves, and one of the hardest venues to really compete at right here at the South Side.
Well, not just because it's a beach break, and some beach breaks tend to be a bit more difficult for the longboarders or longboard in general, but like we've mentioned, just the stage that this is, and to have this be kind of the opening. It is a great opening. I feel like it does set the stage. It sets that vibe of, how important this is for them, and all of the work and training and funding and, sponsorship that they've pulled together to come and do this. And so this really kind of helps you feel okay, it's worth it.
Yeah, and the involvement, right, of everything surrounding it too. So this one goes a little out to sea, but maybe took the wrong line initially, and maybe just went a bit too far to the pocket right there for Rory Logan.
Yeah, not an amazing wave, but she opened up with that 7.5, so she's really just kind of trying to kind of work things through. I think she's feeling probably pretty confident right now where she's sitting, but I know Malia enough to know that she's still staying focused. Here we got B here with that nice little drop down. She's just keeping it kind of nice and cool.
Struggling to really find anything with an open face, though. Yeah, you're 2 for 2 this morning so far. So
I feel like I need to button it up for a second.
No, you're great. I think more than anything, just really struggling to find something good out there. Ilagan now with the paddle. 15 minutes on the clock. Looking to get to the nose. She does. Good 5 right there for Malia, and this will be her backup at the moment. Trying to get the reform going left now. This midsection, despite it not being a large, differential with the tides, it is difficult to really make this inside connector, and she does well to be able to do so. Gets a hit on the left. Can she complete it? Yes, she can. So that is a complete ride for the surfer out of Ventura, California. And it'll be a solid backup right here with just under half of the heat still gone by.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit sloppy of a finish there, but like you said, she completed it. I know she'll be happy that kind of maintained control all the way through it. Should definitely be throwing away that 183. She comes in at a 383.
Board looks amazing.
Yeah, the board's looking good.
Well, yeah, it looks like kind of like that set.
And it seems like right now the board looked good for the former world champion Lindsay Steinrady, 2011 world champ Lindsay, and she is on the glass with AJ McCord.
Thanks so much, Mitch. It has been a whirlwind for you since Friday night, coming here with baby Nico to support Edward all the way from France, and then finding out, surprise, you're in the competition. What has been going through your mind the last few days?
I mean, honestly, like being a new mom, my daughter's like #1 priority. I was thinking about that yesterday, just thinking about also the other women on tour that are moms now. It's just so different. Like, after finding out I was in the contest, the next day I went out for a practice surf, and I wasn't thinking about like what heat was in the water, or it was before my heat, what heat was in the water when I had to go in. I was thinking about like when she needs to take her nap next, when she needs to eat, like stuff like that. So definitely a whirlwind, like you said, and different perspective, and just trying to really embrace like such a special opportunity to compete again against, or alongside again, Edward, and then also have my daughter here. Like, that's basically the reason I took the opportunity. And
tell me why that feels so different. What is it about competing alongside Edward, having your daughter in the crowd? Like, what does that feel like?
I think it's just like all the things you love and all the things you're passionate about coming together as one. Like, it was already really something special to me to be competing alongside Edward for so many years. That's actually why I stayed on tour as long as I did. And then just to have like Nico here, like coming out of the water, I lost. I went over the falls a few times. Like, as soon as I saw her face, it just like didn't matter. And again, I've been watching like Honolulu, who has rain coming around, and even the shortboard women on tour that have their daughters, and I just thinking like such a like special thing when everything you love comes together. And so again, just to have that opportunity to live that, I had to say yes.
And for surf fans, we love seeing you back in the water, and being a new mom, congratulations on all of it. We're happy to have you back.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, AJ. Congratulations to Lindsay Steinrady. Despite the loss in the first heat of this elimination round, still inspiring a lot of the youth around the world, as we see B. Conroy here needs an 8.5 or better to move up in the first place. Some good surfing right there on what seems to be her best ride so far in this heat with 11.5 on the clock. So necessary for her to get on the board right here and at least improve on that 2.83 that she currently has in her scoreline.
Yeah, it was a nice ride right there. I think that she's definitely going to improve on things. I'm still feeling a bit smitten about that interview with Lindsay as we watch the replay here. Nice little fade on the top there where she hooks it in to the section there, gets the tip time, brings it carefully back around there into that white water as she sets up for the next inside section. Just kind of being patient there, waiting for it. She's got a great style. Really showed some stuff in Bells last year. Very impressed.
Showed some stuff on this wave right here. That was not easy to surf at all.
Got a couple ridges, couple ribs there that she had to negotiate that she did really nicely. So looks like she came in at a 4.67. So as we said, definitely helped her score line out. Now she's looking for a 6.67, which is a super attainable score with 10.5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, plenty of time right here. So a third of the heat still on the line for B. Conroy to make a comeback right here against Ventura's Malia Ilag, and she made it into the semifinals last year at the south side of the Huntington Beach Pier, and she is looking to go a bit further down the line at this one at the Lexus US Open of Surfing, presented by Pacifico. Has the best score of the heat so far, a 7.5.
minutes 40 on the clock.
Well, it's Sunday right here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico, and we got a ton of different things for everybody, and most of them, I mean, totally free. 21 plus for the DJ Ty Hollywood on the beach bar from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the south side of the pier, and then from 4 to 6 at the Pacifico patio. Also 21 plus, that is the Pacifico PM radio set. We got the Festival Village and our food trucks right here at the festival site. And of course, World Longboard Tour Surf Competition all the way till about 3:30 p.m. this afternoon. Totally free. And if you can't watch it in person, you can always watch it online at worldsurfleague.com too. So day number 2 out there of the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico out in the water. And before we went to the break, the 467 came through for B. Conroy, and she did catch another one right here, Carla. So looking for a 667 at this moment.
Yeah, she's going to try to milk this thing onto the inside there as it kind of stands up again. Gets the steps up, but she's going to have to straighten off there.
Great carve at the end.
Yeah, super nice carving, rail work.
So out at Point Lonsdale, an area where the waves are good. It is quite consistent. In the wintertime, it can be freezing, though, and it is a venue that really tests you over there at Bells Beach, which will be one of her local breaks on tour. 7 minutes on the clock, waiting on this last score for B. Conroy. But I mean, an iconic venue itself. It's been one of the longest running professional surf competitions, the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach. And who's won that event? Pretty much the best of the best over there at that iconic venue where you win the bell. But for the longboarders, I mean, a much different approach, right, Carla? Because you have a wave that runs, but it tends to be very difficult to really maintain that line from very start to finish at that point.
Yeah, and it's really like conducive to the tide, depending on what the tide is doing. You're surfing, you know, up the point more, you're surfing inside, so things change a lot, and there's just a lot of water out there too. It did remind me a bit of kind of El Sonsal on the way, but you know, last year we had it in this cold water condition, so it's nice that kind of you get all of the different climates too on tour, so you got wetsuits and you know,
great point.
You know,
I like that.
I think that's important a bit, you know, like it's not all just like cute bikini surfing or trunks or whatever, but bringing those different elements brings a different approach to your game.
Speaking of approaches to the game, one of the great surfers on tour, Sophia Colhane, she's coming up against Story Martinez in heat number 3 of the women's ER. Again, a couple hugs before she paddles out. I like that though, and I think if you ask the majority of people on tour, they're always going to be like, yeah, I want locations that are warm. I don't want to be putting on a wetsuit, as we see the last of B. Conroy 4.4 still needing the 667 priority with Ilagan. A good amount of people will say, I miss wearing a wetsuit though, and I actually like it. It's beneficial to me because, one, maybe I'm more used to it than my opponent, and another, I just feel a lot more comfortable in that too.
I mean, I used to always feel like I felt like a superhero when I had a good wetsuit that fit really good, you know, and you're just kind of like, da, 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 you know, you feel kind of invincible. And yeah, when you compare tropical surfing to wetsuit surfing, I mean, as a woman and you're in bikinis and you've got all these different things and things that can slip out and fall off, being in a wetsuit definitely is a bit more safe.
Well, the cool thing about, you know, ending the event over at El Sonsal, obviously a quality wave too. It's a time of the year in March where it's usually not as hot just yet too, so it's a 2-day event this time as well, so we have a bit more time spread out.
Well, and that's something to speak of. So we speak about like the usage of the wetsuits, and then on the other side of the dime, or the other side of the coin, when it's really hot, you have to know how to like deal with the heat.
Oh yeah.
So here, you know, in U.S. Open, as we see Malia up and riding here, you're dealing with the star-studdedness, the stage, yeah, and being in front of this big stage, and you have to deal with that.
So this wave out of nowhere really just popped up, and you see this at beach breaks where all of a sudden a rip or a current really just starts to facilitate things in order to catch waves. And for both Ilagan and Conroy, that's been the case on at least their last few waves. And 4 minutes on the clock, uses priority right here. She is looking to improve on a 3.83 and likely to do it right here in an important spot in the heat too, as B's still looking for the 667.
Yeah, she comes out, she betters her situation with the 4.4 on her last wave, but she's still looking for that 667. As you see the replay of Malia there, she gets kind of that dropping in hang 10 there as it kind of floated at the top. Drops it back down more, gets a little bit more critical 5 there. Whips it back into the white water as she gets that third 5. Just kind of negotiating it really nicely, staying busy. I can feel her energy a little bit from her. I can feel a little bit
What's
of
your
that
nickname for her? Your little, how do you say niece?
Well, she would be like my pamangkin.
Pamangkin, yeah.
Pamangkin, she's like my goddaughter.
Oh.
Or you could say she would be like my anak, would be like my little girl, my little child, anak. Or Junak. Shout out to my Junakis in Siargao if you guys are watching.
How many do you have now?
I got all sorts. I got
Dozens?
young ones. I've got ones that are too old to actually be my Junakis. My girls Nina and Siona out there.
That's fine. As long as they embrace it, it's all good. 3 minutes on the clock, Malia.
She's staying busy.
Yeah, up and riding again. So this is her 5th wave. Last one comes through 5:17, so she does improve. And that means that Conroy now, before this one, needing an 8. How's this line that she chose? Going
Good.
left now.
Great read.
Great speed line right there for Ilagan. Fades back on the right. Got a rebound off of the white water before she kicks out. 2.5 on the clock now. And outside of priority, I'd really say excellent use of positioning at that point too. She caught that wave paddling back out in that zone.
It's funny when you're on, you know, and like you can really just like feed off that energy. And I think she's feeling good. She's feeling confident. And she's feeding off that energy, which is exactly what she needs to do right now. What we need to see from B is to kind of switch it around and get it lined up. As we see the replay of the last one here, I believe this might have been that 5:17, or this is actually the one we just watched where she catches this line on the left. Really great read here. Love that she turned and looked the other way. Gets the tip time on the left there, whips it back around carefully. You can see kind of her face going, oh, just hold on.
So another potential good score right here for Ilagan, and she does actually have the best score of the women's event so far, the 7.5 in this heat. Hona Bloomfield and Natsumi Taoka with the 7 each. Kalis Kaleopa'a this morning with the 6.67, and yesterday Chloe Calmon 6.33. But confidence-wise, that does a lot, right, Carla? Because it truly means that so far you've been at the top of the pack when it comes to the best wave.
You can't help but think that, like, when you're young and you're new to this, she's had 1 year on tour prior to this. There has to be moments of that imposter syndrome that comes into your head. Like, do I deserve to be here? Have I earned, yes, she's earned it. She deserves it. And so.
Look at Joe Marie. That's a new way to wear a t-shirt over there.
We got Joe Marie, JR, Daddy Addy. I call him Daddy Addy. That's Malia's dad. And, supporters from Ventura.
40 seconds on the clock. So Conroy now needing an 8. The last of Ilagan doesn't improve. It's a 4.87. B's trying. She's trying to get it into anything she can. Has a pair of 4s right now, but needs the first excellent score of the event to be able to overtake Malia Ilagan at the moment. That's better. That'll help. Needs something huge here on the inside, though, and this wave needs to cooperate, and so far it hasn't, but
great surfing from B. She should really be proud of the showing that she showed here at the U.S. Open.
And then another wave and just this ripple for Malia.
Ooh.
She's caught 3 waves in pretty much about 2 minutes right here. And you said active, and there's times where you're just on a roll and things are going your way the entire time too. And it seems like that'll be the case at the end of the heat right here for Ilagan.
Daddy Addy can take a breath now. Joyce's mom is probably at home. Shout out to Annalie, her sister. I'm sure they can all breathe now. She's in to round 3.
That board looks sensational at the moment. Big shout out to Wayne Rich.
Yeah.
Making some excellent stuff for his competitors right here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico. Heat 2 done and dusted. Heat 3 coming up with Sofia Copain and Story Martinez.
Story Martinez.
The Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico is brought to you by Lexus, experience amazing, and by Board & Brew, keeping it real since '79.
Welcome back to the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico. Great moment of sportsmanship here and a great heat surfed by Malia. And guess what? We've got more to come. It's Elimination Day, so this will be a bittersweet day for longboard lovers out there because your favorite surfer might be out of this contest. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens next. I'm Chris Cote. This is Sam Bleakley. Sam, the waves starting to turn around, look more and more fun with every heat that we've seen already today.
And a big highlight for me, we both shared the same experience of being in the Red Bull Athlete Zone with the great, mighty David Nuuhiwa behind us. So we were both starstruck, the aura of that dude. I mean, he's an icon here.
It's literally tangible, and there are not a lot of people on the planet that, you know, I felt something behind me, and I'm like, that is a force, and I turned around, David Nuuhiwa is
It's a force of the ultimate soul art.
Yeah, I think we both looked at each other like, that's David.
we were speechless.
Yeah.
Unusual for us.
Super awesome, super awesome. Well, the surfing has been awesome as well. We've already seen some incredible nose rides, those drop knee turns that we love to talk about. And we're gonna get some more of that now. We got Sophia Colhane going up against Sori Martinez. So Sophia, representing Hawaii. Sori, one of our youngest surfers in the draw out of Puerto Rico. Saw her have a moment before this heat with her dad. Super cool to see that. But she's going to have her hands full. As we know, Sophia Colhane, such a steady competitor. She's had great results here and all over the world. So how do you think this one's going to play out, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see Story here and, you know, based in Virginia Beach. But Sophia, she's going to be so hard to beat. Sophia is our reigning Hawaii regional WSL champion. She's now a multiple Mexi Log Fest champion. That is an elite event to win, and she's got a third here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing. And what we see from Sophia on her Michael Takeyamas is this beautiful finesse, this all-round capability. And she's actually one of the few longboarders who has sports agency representation. US Sports represent her. Jenna looks after her, and she has taken her longboarding to a really beautiful professional space whilst retaining all of that authenticity and that culture and that flair that we associate with those South Shore Waikiki longboarders.
So longboarders are allowed to go to the gym too?
100%. Okay. Sophia is working hard, and it's paying dividends. Her performances in the last couple of years have gone through the roof. She was close to finishing in the top 8 last year, just fell short by 1 spot, but this could well be her year. And, you know, knowing that you can win your world title on the front side as a regular footer at Sunzal, is it going to be the chance for Sophia to get that world title she so deserves?
Well, in terms of surfboards, I think she has one of my personal favorite boards. Just I saw you nerding out, I was nerding out, Rosie was nerding out. We were in the board rack, and it is such a fun place to just literally, it's like window shopping. Like, ooh, that one's cool. Ooh, I like this one. Sophia on that Michael Takayama board with just the cool, like, kind of like soft purple on one side and white on the other. It's just a really nice looking board.
And the cool thing is about longboards is, of course, there's so much more space. You know, shortboards, of course, are so interesting, but longboards, it's everything accentuated. There's more opportunity to showcase the spray, to really see those elongated design features. And one of the things that we're really noticing on a lot of the boards that they're still mostly single fins is that a lot of the shapers and surfers have opted just to kind of keep that soft rail through most of the board, but just have a little bit of edge in the tail just to give a little bit more bite and drive through the rail turns.
And we're going to kick things off. Sophia Colhane on that beautiful board we were just talking about. Gets to the nose, casual, little carve back towards the whitewater. Some fancy footwork to start this heat. And we talked about it a lot yesterday, how we do love to see this serpentine path from the outside all the way to the inside. Just elegant, calm, casual footwork there for Sophia. That's just a nice, calming way to start a heat. I think it's going to be a decent score.
Yeah, flow was a paramount feature of that. Variety, connecting all of the sections. I like that a lot, and it's going to be a really strong start.
Well, the judges deliberate that first wave. They're going to have to put their eyes back on the water. Quick look for Story, but she didn't catch it. So that gives us the chance to catch up with Malia and AJ.
Thanks, Chris. Malia, so good to see you back on tour. I know it was a mission to get back here, having to win a few qualifiers to get the season wild card. How are you feeling about this second season on tour?
I'm so excited. Last year here was like really shocking to me, like to have the result that I did last year, and I'm just really like grateful to have another opportunity to be surfing against these ladies. They're like what keep me going and keep pushing myself, so to be back and like learning more, I'm so grateful for the experience. I'm so blessed. I'm just grateful to be here again.
We're so happy to have you back, especially because you've been dealing with a left knee injury that has a brace that looks like it just stands out so much in the water. What's going on?
I've had a torn meniscus for a little while, probably around like 3 years or so. But a little over a month ago, it was bothering me more than it has like in the past, and I was really unsure if I was going to be able to make it here, which I'm so blessed, so grateful to God that I'm able to be here and be part of this contest, because this is one of my favorite events. But it was bothering me, and all of a sudden it was just like it stopped hurting, and I was able to surf, and it was great. I'm so grateful just to be here and be able to surf and do what I love.
We're so happy to have you back, have your style back on tour, so we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
I like that update there, and luckily for Malia, we do have Hoag Hospital right on the sand here.
Yeah.
We'll pop over there. Our doctors are on hand, and we're going to have some doctors come in and guest here on the booth, and I'm sure we're going to be talking to them on sideline as well. It's really great to have that kind of support down here.
Yeah, and torn meniscus or torn cartilage is another word for meniscus. There can be funny injuries because sometimes they can really settle down and you can't feel them, and other times they start to flare up and you can kind of catch them, and sometimes the knee will lock up, and you can try to live with it and do some rehab around it, but ultimately a lot of athletes have to have that arthroscopy where you just cleanly go in and clean out that tear, but the recovery is quite quick, and you know, a lot of people have come back stronger than ever from the meniscus surgery.
I think I've had 2 torn meniscuses for like 25 years.
Yeah, well, you're a skater as well. I mean, you know, skaters' knees and skaters' ankles, that's a whole other story.
Well, I mean, you need your knees, you need your hips, you need everything in line if you want to win this event, because so far, I mean, everybody's been surfing good. Everyone's had opportunity, including Story Martinez.
This is a really nice 517. 4 to the nose, holds that 5, and then gets that open face, able to really accentuate that first cutback. And then more of a speed check in that second cutback, but quick up to the nose for that second nose ride. And running back from that nose ride, she just takes a little nose dive, but it comes out stronger than this opening 417 from Sophia. You can see the wave size a little bit different. Sophia's wave didn't quite facilitate that steeper section for that opening nose ride, but what you saw from Sophia was beautiful flow, connectivity, reading the section, staying in the pocket, demonstrating great flow and footwork and variety. But the judges got that right on the money, just rewarding that slightly bigger wave, which had that slightly more critical section.
You're absolutely right. As we see Sophia now reacting most likely to the score she heard, she thought, you know what, I got this. We've got a lot of surfing left. There's 20 minutes to go. Nice redirections here from Sophia. Got a couple toes over at the beginning of this wave. So this is going to be an interesting one, because this is really similar to her opening ride.
Sure.
Where we saw, you know, Story out the back, almost twice as big. And like you said, more critical sections. She did have that wipeout at the end. If she would have ridden out, of course, you know, conjecture, but if she would have ridden out, I mean, we could have been looking at a 7-8 point ride, because that wave just had something special to it.
Yeah, I think it goes to show that both of the surfers have had a quick start, but it goes to show that those steeper sections are going to reward more higher degree of difficulty surfing, which is something the judges are going to recognize. Again, we're seeing from Sophia the flow. Look at the way she just links everything up. Even that S-turn there, her grace, her ability just to get back to the tail and just leave that board back and forth. But the wave not really delivering as much, even as her 417. But you can see tight on the angle here on the footwork, just wrapping those front 5 toes over the tip on her Michael Takayama. I got the chance to talk to both Kayamana and Michael about this board yesterday. It's got a little bit more or less fiberglass than some of Michael's other boards, which you might go for the gloss finish or a little bit of a heavier look. This is more of a lighter 4 and a 6 ounce glass job, but it's got a nice kick in the tail. It's very foiled. All of Michael's boards are very personalized. to the surfer. It's, you know, one of the great kind of custom-made approaches, from the communication, the awareness of what the longboarder needs, all the way through to polishing and sanding the board. Michael does everything.
Yeah, that's a conversation that we have often here on the World Longboard Tour in Huntington Beach. Michael Takayama in the lab. I just saw an Instagram post, the board he made for Chase. Basically, he made 4 boards in 4 days. A Herculean feat when you do everything. I mean, sure, he's got, you know, some help around him, but still, think about it. This is a 9-foot-plus board.
It's a lot of work.
Beautiful art. Everything you mentioned, all the details that go into it.
Yeah.
And they can't just look good, they've got to function well.
Yeah.
And those are the secret parts that you would have to pretty much be an expert to look at the bottom of the board and go, ooh, I see what Michael has done here.
Yeah.
The concaves.
Exactly.
The flip tail's easy to see, but when you kind of look at the overall story that these boards that Michael makes it is just incredible. And the fact that he did it, you know, relatively quick. I read somewhere, we were talking yesterday, an average Joe ordering a Takayama board, it can take up to a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a waiting list, and you know, there's
in demand.
There's work to be done, but I love that Michael, you know, said, you know what, I got a strong team. Someone probably is going to win this event on a Michael Takayama.
Avalon did last year, and you know, a little switch of design as well. We should mention Ricky Carroll. We'll talk more about that when Story's up and riding on her next wave. But look at that nice nose ride from Sophia, staying busy, looking to better that backup 367. But you know, out of priority, you know, kind of smart decision to hunt, to be active. But that's not going to go into her top 2 because that wave just faded out.
So Story having a look. This little right coming through.
So Ricky Carroll surfboards from Florida. Ricky's shaping Story's boards. Ricky also shapes the Black Rose manufacturing boards designed and owned by Justin Quintal, former World Longboard champion, Floridian, you know, legend, winning that World Longboard Tour in 2019. You know, Quinny, if he's tuning in, he'd love to get a wild card here at HB, a place he can win, no problem.
I like that Story is just waiting for the big ones. I mean, this one, again, about twice as big as Sophia's last wave. It's a little flat. She's going to stick with it. She did get a bit of a critical nose ride on the outside.
Whole section on takeoff was nice, wasn't
yeah,
it?
It was, you know, there was some drama to it. I think the judges appreciate drama. I think that's kind of the critical section, the control that they want to see. But the one word that's not in the judging criteria that maybe should be is drama.
Yeah. Well, yeah, theatre on the stage, you know, get the spotlight on. I mean, the things that they're looking at is the combination of major maneuvers, commitment and degree of difficulty, variety, flow and precision. And what we saw then was using that opening section, getting to the nose, and then was able to read the opportunity to touch that nose again for that second section, but you can just see that wave starting to fade. So it's not going to rival her opening 517. It's not going to beat Sophia's top 2 scores as well. Comes in, there it is. It's a 267. So Sophia needs a fairly low score. And Cote, this is now really interesting. When you need those low scores, whether you play the patient game and really go for a good set with an open face that is really going to go close to excellent range, or whether you just get the score you need to move up into first.
Yeah, and thinking to back to Story's wave, that 267, the element that was missing was flow.
Yeah.
You saw some catches of the rails, and it wasn't necessarily her fault. That wave was pretty junky when she took off. And I think she did get some credit for the outside little hang 5, but the wave just kind of let her down throughout. So with 14:27 to go, at the moment we have Story Martinez in the lead at that 517. She just backed it up with a 267. Sophia leading at 368 with plenty of time and plenty of waves coming through. As we see a paddle here, Story, who's in second priority. Just having a look at that last one. And speaking of having a look, Rosie is still in the board rack room. What's going on, Rosie?
Yeah, you guys, I have to jump in on the equipment talk here because I feel like whenever I come to this event, I just get so educated on the equipment that these surfers are riding. And we call it equipment, but really these longboards are pieces of art. And I just love the fact that Sam, you and I were talking about it this morning, that these surfers will ride these boards for decades, hand them down to someone else. Every little touch point from the shaper, the sander, the glasser, everyone has taken the time to really make these boards just such pristine pieces of art, like I said, but also a lot of self shapes. I mean, Ken Skindog is Ken is making his own boards. We've got Kai Salas is making boards. Stevie Sawyer. I know that he's not in this event, but we are seeing some of his shapes. And then I know that we've been talking about Rachel Tilley's board, but also seeing different like rockers and the way that the tails are pulled in, especially on Rachel's board. Can you just tell me a little bit about how that is helpful for longboarding, especially somewhere here like Huntington, Sam?
Yeah, well, Rachel's board is unique, that one with the Hoffman inlay fabric, in the sense Rachel likes a lot of rocker in her board, you know, perhaps some of the highest amount of rocker you'll see, and that makes her board super maneuverable as well.
Just like that, Story, she's back on one of the bigger set waves we've seen of this heat. Nice King 5 to start that wave, and she kind of extended out, hung it out there to dry a little bit, which we know we love to see it. The judges love to see it. That's going to be an interesting scoreline to come through.
Chris, this is going to be a super close one. You know, I imagined that, you know, both surfers could shine in these types of conditions, and, you know, they are, but they're both kind of carrying those middle scores. It'll be that one surfer that goes up into the sevens who really kind of puts the pressure on.
I like Rosie's point, too, there. You think of...
Mama Colhane, Sophia.
We got some
Sophia's mum there. Big shout out to James Colhane, Sophia's brother, who'll be tuning in. But wow, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on parents watching their kids compete. I mean, it impresses me how well Sarah deals with it. She's so cool in the heat of the moment, and she's really got that lovely balance of being present and available for support from Sophia, but then being able to be quiet and in the shadows when necessary. And I really appreciate the balance she brings. She's kind of almost like a role model of how to be like you know, the parent of a competitive surfer going for World Tour wins.
You're not supposed to yell at them all day long, win or lose. Exactly. I know you have experience with it. Your daughter Lola, an up-and-coming longboarder, winning events, doing it all.
It's so much. I mean,
it's harder to watch your kid compete than you to compete, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I had the one experience as well, a few experiences of her in events on the broadcast whilst talking about her surfing. That was quite surreal.
That's pretty cool.
Sophia's up and riding right now, Chris.
Sophia fading into this left-hander. Just beautiful, quick little nose ride there. Gets back over.
Nice.
Such good, just clean, elegant, beautiful style. I mean, every time she stands up, it's like you take like a calming breath, right?
Yeah.
And you just watch and learn with every move she does. But again, she's put herself in a kind of a tough situation because her waves have just not been as good as Story, and that's what the judges are seeing as well. Story's last wave comes through, a 4.40, so they're loving the nose rides they're seeing from Story Martinez, representing Puerto Rico out of Virginia Beach. And would you consider this an upset? I know we have 10 minutes, 20 seconds left, but Story's on top right now. Sophia now needs a 5.4.
I would do. I think Sophia might well improve on that second score she's carrying, the 3.67. I think what we now need from Sophia is just the patience. The surfing is there, and now it's the patience to get one of the biggest sets that we're seeing Story on. She's up to the tip there.
I like that Story is just kind of being relentless, catching a lot of waves. That's going to be her fourth wave ridden. Probably not going to go into her score line. She's going to be hanging on with the 4.4 and the 5.17 for now, so it all comes down to the last wave from Sophia Colhane. It felt good.
Yeah.
We'll see if the judges felt the same way.
I liked it a lot. I mean, it was smaller, but the first nose ride, the way she read that left section and the way she committed to it without hesitation. One of the things you really notice about Sophia's surfing is that flow. She rarely stops the pacing of her cross steps. So some surfers will pop up, they'll do 2 steps pause, and then 2 more steps into the nose ride. But what we see from Sophia, which is very hard to do, is that continual movement from pop-up to initiating those cross steps all the way into that hold of the nose ride. And I think she's going to kind of be improving her situation. May not go up into first, but I think she'll be chasing a lower score than she currently is, which as it stands, a 5.4 she needs. Maybe once this next score drops, she'll need something a little bit less.
It's in the hands of the judges, and they say no. So Sophia Colhane's last wave comes through, a 4.77, not enough to get her in the lead. A couple non-factor scores coming through for Story. So with 8 minutes, 43 seconds to go, Martinez still in the lead.
But that was super important for Sophia. You know, just the fact that she got that strong score and now needs that 4.81. I'm really appreciating that strategy. And now she can be a bit more selective to hunt for that key wave to make the difference.
Well, with 8 minutes, 22 seconds left, I think we've got some bands playing here this weekend, and all 4 of these bands would actually make a really nice soundtrack to the surfing we're watching. We got Real Estate and the La-La-Las on July 31st. On August 1st, Local Natives and RC Drive. My favorite Local Natives song is called Sun Hands.
Oh, nice.
That is an absolute
That's a
jam.
beauty. I'm
Get your phone out. Get your phone out. Get that QR code. I think we're still offering 2 for 1, Sam. That means both of us can go to this show for the price of one of us.
Let's do
Incredible.
it, Cote. And you know, as people, music lovers, of course, you're in your own band as well. You played a gig 2 nights ago, and you know, all 4 of these indie bands are, you know, are worth their weight in gold. I mean, there's going to be good shows on Friday and Saturday.
Do you think I could sit on your shoulders while we're at that show?
Oh, we'll do that.
I'll do you the first night, and then you be on mine the second
let's
night.
do it.
Story, keeping it rolling. Swiveling her way into the inside section, getting back on the nose, riding out clean. I'm loving what I'm seeing here. Martinez definitely not surfing like an underdog right now. She's surfing like a contender, but watch out. Sophia with an extended nose ride gets 10 over. This wave is going to make it a heat. 7 minutes left, carving back into the whitewater. A much better wave than we've seen Sophia on so far.
Amazing, amazing, Cote.
She's putting in work too, cross-stepping to the nose and back, adding some beautiful turns in the mix.
There was just that kind of elevation there. We've seen both surfers performing really well, and all of a sudden we switched to that angle of Sophia locked on that 5, and it was the first time in this heat we've seen a section which has allowed that extended hold of the nose ride, and suddenly everything felt elevated, and I think that's going to be substantially stronger than the other rides, and it's going to put Sophia in a very strong situation. But Story's carrying that backup 517. She's still got a good chance.
What a way to grab the momentum back from Martinez. Here we go. So this is what the judges just locked the number in for, the 5-point ride here for Martinez.
Really nice, good opening 5, gets the cut back, and she's just been so active and busy, finding every section, clean again in and out of those nose rides. But then, in contrast to that, Sophia's wave just had a line to it, holds that 5, stays true to it, and then pulls into a 10, walks out of that 10, really nice turn there, engaging that rail, and then you could just see the spray coming away from that rail and that fin, and then that snaking S-turn just kind of coming back off the foam, and then finding that clean section through the inside and elegantly going into another kind of smooth down carve. This is a borderline excellent range score, you know, and it's going to mean now that Story's going to be chasing potentially something like a 7 or maybe a high 6.
Well, Mom knows. She knows that that was a really great wave, and it's the best wave of the heat. Is 7.67 for Sophia. But watch out, Story on the comeback path now, looking for a 7.28.
Wow.
Pretty solid wave. A little chunky, but she made the most of it on the outside section. Now waiting to see what happens through the inside. She's going to stick with it. Quick 5 over. Staying engaged in the wave. You know, it felt like a little bit of busy work, right? There wasn't that one big, long, critical nose ride that we wanted to see, but she will be given some points for the work that she did on that wave. This is going to be another one of those scores that it's kind of tough to tell.
Well, she's chasing a 7.28, and the difference now after Sophia dropped to 7.67 is a wave that allows the surfer to hold those maneuvers, and you can see the spread there from the high 8s that were dropped, and then the average taken from the remaining scores. And the one high 8 dropped and one low 7.5 dropped, and then we take the average from the remaining 3. That's why it comes out of the 7.67. But the difference with Sophia there is that it just allowed that lock of the long 5 into the 10, and the turns were distinctive. Story's wave was very strong, but it just needed the opportunity to stay on the nose for a little bit longer. But I really appreciate the commitment. That was a difficult first section to hold the nose ride, She comes out of that touch of the 5 and then into these turns. But although Sophia's wave had a smaller wall at the start, it had more of a wall, and it allowed that hold and that flow. And I think this could go into a top 2. Maybe it just lacked a little bit of composure linking the maneuvers, but I don't think it's going to be the score that she needs. So she's going to have to scramble out back. She's kept herself right in the game, though. She's still going to have an opportunity to get that 7.28.
Kind of a tale of two nose rides. You know, you had Sophia high and tight on the wave, up in the most critical part, whereas Story kind of dropped down and she was kind of in the mid to the bottom part of that wave on the nose, which is obviously very hard to do, but pretty clear Sophia still with the best wave of this heat. Story's last score comes to a 4.83, and Sophia is now on the list that everybody wants to be on. She has the single highest scoring wave of the women's draw, 7.67, showing us how it's done. And you know, I feel like right when I said the upset word, Sophia said, no, this is not going to happen. She's a veteran competitor, super steady, and you could tell she had no worries. She knew the wave was going to come her way.
And she was very relaxed before the heat. I was hanging out in the Red Bull athlete zone for a fair amount of time in the first 2 heats, and you know, I got to kind of sense everybody's energy, and Sophia was in that really good, positive, relaxed space, and I think that really helps. And she clearly had a strategy of a busy start, and then I think once she realized that being busy is not enough, she got a bit more patient, and she found that wave with the wall, which allowed that 7.67. But I think what helped make the difference was just committing to that 10 as well. That, you know, that just elevated the ride, you know, that taking that risk. And you know, when we're free surfing on longboards, wherever we are, whether we're riding like a knee-high wave or an overhead wave, if you're riding in the hang 5, to go into the hang 10, it just takes that extra bit of risk.
But you know what? I want to give a huge shout out to our camera operators, because they're absolutely nailing it. I mean, you're seeing everything, and we're watching these zooms in on the toes and all the footwork. It's a masterclass. So thank you to the men and women behind the lens. I mean, look at, like, these shots are just beautiful.
Yeah, all no leash work, and then that opening. In fact, she has got a leash on. You know, demonstrates.
She's hiding it.
Yeah, it demonstrates how clean everything is with the way she's surfing. Really nice, and you know, the top of the leaderboard for the scores in the women's draw. So you know, that says a lot, because we saw really strong surfing from Honolulu Bloomfield yesterday. We saw Natsumi Teoka. I mean, she was outstanding. So that's going to give Sophia a lot of confidence. But I don't think at this stage in the event the surfers get too tangled up in, you know, where they sit, you know, on those stats. You
it's
know,
a long week.
More focused on getting to that final. And you know, I had the chance to talk on the VIP headset in the Red Bull athlete zone, and I was just kind of emphasizing how important it is for the surfers to get, you know, at least a 9th, you know, in this first event of the tour, because 12 surfers will qualify for the finals in El Salvador, and all 3 events of the first 3 events of the tour will count. So it's so important for surfers to be getting at least 9ths and certainly 5ths to really be in the mix. So getting the 17th, if you get eliminated in this round, is going to be a real dent on your hopes to get to El Salvador.
Yeah, it's a rough start.
Yep.
But I feel like, you know, you can erase that rough start with a big finish in the next event. As we see time winding down, 9 seconds left. Sophia Colhane has priority, so she's going to fend off Story. And I feel like Sophia just did the textbook kind of perfect heat, right? Like you said, got real busy, dropped a couple quick scores, and then sat and waited for that magic wave to come through. She read it perfectly, and then maintained priority all the way through the end, and was able to hold Story off that last one, which that could have been a 7.28.
Sure.
But I just think that was just really nicely done. Good, clean competition from Sophia Colhane. And give it up to Story Martinez.
Yeah.
Huge future in front of her. And it was great to see her surfing here in Huntington Beach. But unfortunately, the bittersweet part of Elimination Day is we're going to lose some of our favorites. Well, stay tuned. More action coming up right after these messages.
Sophia slowly but surely improve on the scoreline. Next heat, stand by. Here we go. 10 seconds to the start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, heat number 1 to heat number 4 has started. Cash Hoover in the red, Maria Fernanda Reyes in the blue. Thanks for joining us again down here on your Sunday morning for the Lexus US Open Tournament presented by Pacifico. In the water, heat number 4 in the red. Cash Hoover right now up in front of you. Nice flat back there. Ooh, nice and driving off that inside rail. This way setting up nice. Let's get this reform right. Fizzles out right there. Got some nice work done on the opening portion of that wave. I gotta give a shout out to the dude down there with the home gym doing the tricep curls down there. If you're watching Shane Dorian's videos. I mean, I've seen you do your push-ups behind us and your abs and your, you're doing the lunges and squats and twists. Well, on occasion, you gotta keep it tight. Use it or lose it, bro.
Elimination day here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing, presented by Pacifico. Great performance there for Sophia Colhane, taking out the up-and-coming rookie, Story Martinez. Both surfers putting up final scores in double digits, but the 12.44 for Sophia got her through that heat straight into round 3. Mom's hyped, all smiles, and it's all smiles here in the booth. Chris Cote, Sam Bleakley, and so far so good. You know, a little bit extra wind this morning as compared to yesterday, but the surfers, of course, I mean, they're so graceful, so stylish. They're making it look real fun out there.
Yeah, and big shout out to Story as well. She's just 14. She comes off the back of winning the under-14s at the US Longboard Championships, getting 2nd in the under-18s and 3rd in the Open. You know, such a bright future, and she really, you know, made Sophia work for that win, and I'm very impressed with the talent we're seeing from Story.
No doubt. Well, speaking of talent, we got more of it hitting the lineup right now with Cash Hoover going up against Maria Fernanda Reyes, USA v. Peru. And there's a look at the wind conditions we're looking at right now. We saw in the Surfline forecast we were expecting a little bit of a onshore breeze, but again, I mean, these boards are made for waves like this. This is actually the 2nd wave ridden already by Cash Hoover with 27.25 to go. She got one right off the buzzer, and she may be taking a page out of Sophia's idea to get out there, get busy early, put up a couple scores.
Yeah, I agree.
And then wait, and then wait for that magic.
And I think that's a great strategy for today. You know, we saw yesterday the surfers that were too patient didn't pay off. The surfers that were busy, you know, they kind of found a way to build on their, you know, early scores. And there was also an element of luck. You could find a runner out of nowhere, and it wasn't necessary that the sets were closey. Sometimes a set would hit the rip and really open up, and sometimes a medium-sized one would just hit the kind of side wash and have a real wall to it. So I think that you have to be very versatile. You know, you got to be adaptable. This is Cash's 367. She's always quick to the tip, holds that 5 on her She Creative Army boards, and she's looking snappy and loose and lively. It's going to be a really good exchange between Maria and Cash. They're, you know, both got a lot of experience now. Both regular footers. Maria from Peru, you know, is no stranger to big results. But Cash, you know, starting strong here, just like Sophia did. But she'll know that she'll need to go up into the 5s, up to the 7s to really kind of have a keeper score.
Yeah, with 26 minutes left, we're going to see a lot of both of these women. I would say they were both standouts from yesterday. Just found themselves either, you know, going up against the Titans or just not getting the waves that they needed to get through those opening round heats. So yesterday, non-elimination surfing. Today, elimination surfing. So we see beautiful extended nose ride for Fernanda, but just can't get involved with the closeout section. We'll get some credit for that nose.
Commitment to that nose ride, but you could see how hard it was to get back to the tail in time to kind of meet that foamy section and control it, because all of the redirects, they need to happen when you're at the tail, the back of the board, to allow that steering, that control. And one of the arts of, you know, completing a critical nose ride is walking back in time to adjust your line so that you can redirect off the foam. And, you know, due respect for committing to that nose ride, but not able to get back quick enough to kind of
her roll out of that big floater. There was bounce. It was pretty radical, but she sets a high line, finds that 5, gets into a very quick touch of the 10, and then just here she's not quite able to get back quick enough to really control that turn. But just that nose ride alone will be a decent score.
Absolutely. Now we get to see right-hand ride for Reyes. Good footwork on this one. Just stepping her way up to the nose. That was a nice carve.
Yeah, really nice. And she really brought that back into the pocket. So off the back of that carve, Chris, she set herself up behind the section to find another good nose ride.
Nice and steep there on the inside as well. She managed it really, really nicely. And I think for Maria Fernanda Reyes, just another example of how much talent we have surfing-wise coming out of Peru. I feel like Peru underrated for just how perfect the waves are for longboarding in a lot of those areas. Of course, you have the world's longest left, Chicama.
Yep.
You imagine you could do a 7-minute nose ride on that wave, but all over the area surrounding Lima, so many great waves, rippable waves, and waves that are absolutely perfect for logging. So you can tell that she's well-versed and versatile in all conditions.
And look at the use of this cutback here. Look, really big, but then it
awesome.
Puts her behind the section so that she finds that steep wall there. So busy, smooth. And this came off the back of her positioning off that first wave. She was a little bit inside, but she was lucky because a kind of clean, bowly right-hander came through, and it comes in at a 5. So it's the strongest score of the heat so far.
As it should be. So 23:15 left. Surfers making their way back to the takeoff zone. Let's make our way down to the glass. We've got Sophia Colhane with Rosie Hodge.
Sophia, beautiful surfing, but also just such great heat management. Talk to me about being in second place and then locking in the highest wave score of the women's event so far.
I mean, it felt pretty good. You know, no one wants to be in that round, and I was just happy to kind of get the heat going. And in the beginning, I was a little bit like not sure of myself, and then I talked myself off the ledge, and I was like, "Come on, you got this!" And you know, just had tried to keep the right mental space, and yeah.
And that is so tricky. I mean, this elimination round, like you said, it's so hard, it's nerve-wracking. How do you manage that and keep that composure and make sure that you're finding that positive mental space?
I mean, just looking at the bright side, like we're here down at Huntington Beach, and what a better place and venue that WSL has had for us, and just trying to keep the mind still and yeah, just stay happy and positive.
Also great to have support on the beach as well as your mom here.
Yes, my mom and everyone in Australia and at home in Hawaii and people on the beach. It's just so amazing to be here and just so happy.
We'll see you in that next round. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rosie. Congrats, Sophia. Got out of the scary situation being in round 2. She said no one wants to be in round 2, but here we are. 21:46 now. Cash Hoover weaving her way towards the inside. Did some great surfing out the back. We'll see how she can finish this wave. Looks like it's forming up for her nicely. Glasses off a little bit. Gives her enough energy to get some toes over the nose real quick.
This is a really good ride.
Yeah, all the way through. You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
It was a split peak with Reyes.
Really nice read as well. Good flow, continuous movement, using all of the board, all of the wave. Look very relaxed, but also kind of dynamic. So you can see the left here for Maria there. Locks in a tighter 5. Has a wider stance than Cash. And now she's more focused on trying to control that turn out of that nose ride, but maybe too much focus and was just a little bit tense there and didn't ride out of it. But in and out of 2 nose rides for Cash. But I love the flow and the down carve here. And I like the way at this moment, she's just using the cross stepping to keep the board trimming. See how the footwork will just allow that board to stay flat on the water so you keep that trim speed. But then from the tail, she's just able to kind of redirect, and she holds that little touch of the 5 through the inside in the foamy section, but she's still got a lot of speed right through to the shallows. So I think that's going to be a really strong score, and you know, put Cash in a very positive position, but she's still holding a backup score in the 3s. So once this score comes through, she'll know, okay, this is maybe a keeper, and now I need to focus in the last 20 minutes at replacing one of my backup 3s with a similar score, maybe something closer to the 8s. This is probably going to be not excellent range, but solid.
617, right on the money. Shout out to Cash's parents. Cash Hoover is one of the coolest sounding names we have here at the USO. So with 1950, surfers scanning the horizon, and also scanning their horizon is our very own Carla, who is in the Red Bull Athlete Zone. Carla, what's happening in there?
There's a whole lot happening here right now. It's actually a little mellower than yesterday. You know, day one, it was like pumping, it's vibing. The vibes are a little bit cooler, chiller today. It's a little chillier. I got my sweater on. But this remains to be like the best seat in the house. I have the perfect view. I got to watch that split peak action of Maria and Cash there. It was good. You know, I feel pretty steezy in my Gooder glasses, so I think I'm hanging out pretty good here in the Red Bull Athlete Zone. What do you think?
I think you look awesome. You look cool. And when you look around you, we've still got a lot of superstars that don't technically have to be here today, but they are. Who are you seeing?
Yeah, well, we got a bunch of people are still here, actually. I think Christy Gilmore was sitting right next to me, but she's got a heat coming. We've got some non-competitors that are here that have big names. I think we got Saxon Wilson next to me from Florida. We got the Inoue family. Taka, I think, is already in round 3. So people are hanging out. They're keeping their cool on. They're supporting their friends and stuff. It's good vibes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carla. Hang out. Have some fun. Yeah. You got 18 and a half minutes left here in elimination round heat 4. So we will see women's surfing this morning. We're going to flip things over to the men's side of the draw. And it's going to be an impactful day of surfing. And of course you think of, right, starting off with longboarding, wow, this is going to be so chill and relaxing. Kind of been the opposite. There's been some buzzer beaters. We've seen some decent paddle battles. So it is highly competitive, and it's definitely fun to watch. And I've been learning a lot, actually, not only about the boards, but about technique. You know, these zoomed in close-up slow-mo shots tell a really nice story of how it should be done. So this is a way not only to learn how to surf better, but also to just, you know, it's kind of like ASMR, but a little bit more elevated, a little bit more action-packed.
617 for Cash's last ride, so she's up there in first. Maria chasing a 485, and what's interesting is if you look at the spread of scores from Maria, she kicked off with that 2.33, and the third ride comes in at 3.8. Both of those left-handers felt like they had 6s in them, maybe even higher, and just mistakes crept in. So Maria will be hungry to kind of rectify that. She gets her best score on that second ride, which was a 5, where she had that nice, clean, open face. Things got smooth. But Cash is now in a comfortable position because she's going to be able to work at improving on that backup 3.67. That's Liv Stokes coming up next. Big shout out to all of our teachers in the world. She teaches history at elementary school, 9th grade. And she still surfs at the top level, and she is someone who can really have a good run here at Huntington.
I feel like sometimes here in the elimination round, you're surprised at the matchups. I'm actually surprised to see Mason Tremery and Liv Stoke in the elimination round. They're usually, you know, straight into round 3, but that's just the talent level and the talent pool we have here at the U.S. Open. I mean, it's the best of the best competitive longboarding. So 16:27 left. At the moment, Cash Hoover on the strength of that 6.17. She's hanging on to the lead, but
can I just say,
doesn't need much. 4.85, that's tangible.
I'm going to put it out there. I see Cash Hoover being a world champion within the next 5 years.
I agree.
Yeah, I just think she's just so well-rounded. She's got focus, but she's got good attitude. She's humble. She's got the support of her beautiful family, her parents, and she's capable at surfing at a top level on all boards in all conditions. And I just think she's just got the building blocks, the foundations to, you know, improve on her tour standings year by year. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, before long she's on that coveted list with the likes of Soleil, Rachel, Honolulu, Tori Gilkison, Lindsay, all of those special names, Kalia Moniz, all those people who she would have looked up to and she still looks up to. You know, I think Cash is going to be, you know, a world champion before long.
I believe it. You know, she still has 15:27 left, and we know how good Maria Fernanda Reyes is, so she's not quite in the clear yet. She's going to have to put up one more sizable score, and we know Maria's got one in her as well. So stay tuned for the culmination of the elimination round, Heat 4. We'll be right back.
Pulls the nose out, that shoulder can get a little pesky. Nice little race for shoulder. It lurches pretty quick. So 14 minutes on the clock, 3:85. Waiting on last of blue to see if things change here. Anything better? Well, she needs a 4.85. I was going to say anything better than a 5 will help her. But it comes in under a 3.77 to the last wave of Maria. Now she'll battle back out. Still looking for a 4.85 with 13:35 on the clock. Here we are.
Back to the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico. And yes, we have one of the coolest sand castles in the world on the beach right here in Huntington. And guess what? This sand castle brought to you by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. I mean, Best Western, right? Iconic for family trips, road trips, and yes, surf trips. With over 250 locations across California, Hawaii, and Nevada. Join Best Western Rewards for discounts, deals, opportunities, and more. There's the QR code. And, you know, there's a sense of comfort, right? When you're driving, you're tired, and you're thinking, oh gosh, I gotta get off the road here. You look at your phone, boom, there's a Best Western nearby.
Yeah, you got to come down and see that sand castle. It's absolutely awesome, you know, and just as the day goes on and the heat builds and the crowds come down, the energy on the sand is just phenomenal, and energy on the pier as well. And it's a really, really special occasion, and I know, speaking on behalf of the longboard community, that everybody really appreciates the chance to shine here.
No doubt. Here goes Reyes. Quick to the nose. Wave fading a little bit, but it looks like it's building up again through to the inside. Here's the speed line.
Whoa.
Gets the 10, maintains composure and control.
Wow.
Nails the end section. Style and grace. Maria Fernanda Reyes. She's going to be right back in this heat, looking for a 4.85. There was something good, a good feeling on that wave. Yeah. There was a lot of action.
Yeah, that's her strongest score yet. Her 5 is now going to be added to something that I would expect she's going up into first, but bear in mind Cash only needs to improve on a backup 3.67. But it's a bit shouldery to begin with, but she does get a 5. She uses the cross step turn, but the way she reads this wedge here, that's the most critical nose ride. She almost loses control in 2 sections, but manages to maintain some flow and some finesse. And I feel as if this is going to be a very important potential change in situation. But if Cash just stays patient, it's not going to be so difficult for her to better that 3.67. So we may see Maria moving up into first, but whether it will rival Cash's 6.17, I'm not quite sure that it's as strong as that, but I do think Maria is now right back in the mix here.
Absolutely. 10 minutes, 58 seconds left. Cash Hoover out the back with priority. Pretty chill times on the sand for now. Of course, that's going to change. It's Sunday here at Surf City, USA. It is only 9:27 a.m., so it's going to be a long, awesome day, and we know the sun is about to pop. Just looking behind me, I see streaks of blue sky. It's going to be a classic California day here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing.
big shout out to Piccolo Clemente, who's the shaper of Maria Fernanda Reyes boards. He's been a 2 times WSL World Longboard Champion. He won when we had the event Rio 1, China, on the left-handers.
You're going to have to need one of these Sun Ninja canopy covers today, because, like I said, sunblock, shade, Sun Ninja. It's all coming together here, and this breeze is actually probably going to be welcome once the sun does come out, because it's going to be just the perfect temperature. Water temp, 73.
There it is, 517 Cote. So she's in first, but Cash only needs a 4. But this looks like a really nice right-hander from Maria.
Yeah, she's kind of just taking the momentum back. Good turn to start. Almost dips the nose there. Does get the secondary 5 over, and the section gets a little wild, but nicely done. Rides out clean.
It was a hard one. It was a bit scrappy. It's not, for me, going to go into the top 2. She's got a 5 and a 5.17. And now, you know, Cash is really just going to be able to draw on her kind of contest experience. You know, Cash is young, but she's, you know, she comes off the back of winning our first global qualifier we had in January in La Union. She beat Natsumi Teoka. Here we go, chasing a 4, sensibly kicking out. She's probably going to maintain priority as well, because Maria is still on the inside, Chris.
Have we seen priority really become a big factor yet today or through yesterday?
There was a few moments. JR was almost kind of, you know, lost control of the heat, but he was, you know, busy. He was active, but it went in his favor. But I think maybe as the day goes on, there's a good chance we're going to have one of those heats where a mistake comes in, where somebody goes for something that proves to be a closeout or a fade out and regrets having not been more patient for the next set.
Yeah, it's a little smaller than yesterday, as you can clearly see, but only just.
Yeah.
And there's still plenty of waves, plenty of opportunities. I mean, Maria Fernanda Reyes has 7 waves ridden already, Cash with 4, so we know there's options out there, and I feel like this is almost a better size than yesterday. I wish it was a little bit more glassier. I think everybody does, but this size to me here in Huntington is really a nice level playing field for every surfer.
Yeah, great to showcase more of the nose riding, but again, talking of size, we used this phrase yesterday, bite-sized scores, Chris, and that's exactly what Cash is now chasing. We saw so many times yesterday when people just needed something in the mid-4s, and it proved hard to get. But I think Cash has got enough time for this 4. So to begin with, I guess her first option is just be a little bit more patient and wait for a set. As we see Mason Schremer coming down for the next heat. Mason currently based in Ireland. She's having a great time on the west coast of Ireland. Multiple good waves out there as well.
I like that. It looks like she's kind of riding maybe an Old Faithful, some ding repair on this board. Yep. What are we looking at here?
She's on her Thomas Bexon boards, one of the great Australian shapers. Bexon's heavily available as well in California. Many places stock Bexon. She often comes over here, does little kind of guest shaping residencies, and she's going to be looking strong coming up against Liv, but Liv knows this wave so well. She's just down the coast. It's a location like all Southern Californian surfers that she has competed at throughout her whole life.
If you surf and you surf in contests in California, you've surfed in Huntington Beach. This is a real prime time competition zone because it's so consistent. On any given day, you're going to find a wave here. And it's just like Cash Hoover, who's looking for a 4.0.
Nice. She's got to hang on here. The footwork in and out of that first nose ride. So I think there's a very good chance she gets the score she needs here. It's going to be close. She opted to go early, not be too patient. It may well pay off because she's probably going to have a chance to go again if she doesn't get the score, but it's going to be close for the score that she needs. Only needing a 4. I felt like that footwork was very good. Straight into the 5, holds that 5, walks out. Look at the control walking out of that nose ride into that rail turn, and then the wave not really cooperating at this stage. She does find another touch of the nose, but it just closes out there, but it doesn't allow anything linking up for a reform. So whether it will be the score, it's going to be close. Maybe it's going to come out just higher. It is a 5.57, so she's going to be so stoked about that because she's still got time to really kind of sit on things if Maria betters her back up 5.
This has been a back-to-back seesaw battle because Maria's on yet another wave, and now she needs a 6.57. So that would be nearly the best way, or that would be the best wave ridden in this heat. So, you know, you kind of go off feel, you kind of go off emotion in what you're watching, and to me that wave wasn't it. But she still has 5 minutes, 20 seconds left, and it's nice because the paddle back out. I mean, unless set comes through and you got to somehow ditch your longboard or, you know, try to push one of these beasts under a solid set wave, it only takes about 30 to 40 seconds to get back to the lineup. So we're going to see more back and forth between these two surfers for 5 more minutes.
And Cash will be sitting out there with priority, so there may be an opportunity for Cash to kind of sit closer to Maria if she wants to, or she may just focus on bettering her 5.57. I think on hindsight now, reflecting back on that score, the wave was quite juicy, wasn't it? It was quite big and peaky, and you know, there was a lot of energy. And I think from the judges' perspective, who get to watch this live, as we see her dad Dirk there watching on, you know, nervous moments for him, but he will be so pleased when she dropped that score. You know, that will, you know, really make him feel good about the approach, about the strategy. But I think the size of the wave and the commitment in the footwork, you know, no hesitation, in and out of that first nose ride, flowing through the turn, quickly into that second nose ride, and that lack of hesitation linking up the speed section on the wave, I think that really took what could have been a 3 or a 4 up into the kind of mid-5s.
With 4 minutes left, it's going to be a long week of surfing. We're going to talk about surfboards a lot, and that's a good thing. We get to see some of the most beautiful longboards in the world here on the sand, all the way from Saturday, yesterday, all the way to Tuesday, where we'll crown our champions. And then we're going to flip things over. We're talking F1 style surfboards entering those racks. Challenger Series stop number 2 starts Wednesday. That goes through to Sunday. 80 men, 48 women. That's a lot of heats in the Challenger Series event, but there's plenty of swell throughout the entire window. We're just stoked all around because we love surfing, we love surfboards, and we love the fact that there's going to be something to ride pretty much no matter what.
Yeah, and I love the reference to F1. And interestingly, for Ben Skinner, who's designed one of the models called the Double Scoop, his inspiration comes from the spoiler of F1 cars and how they create downforce, and using designs at the back of the board to create that drag that allows the lift so that you can critically hang 10. As we got to see the judges watching, and what a great job they're doing. You know, so much to consider, especially at HB when there's quite a, you know, a big distance between the surfers. Sometimes it's like, you know, 800 yards between one surfer taking off and another surfer who may be sitting on the pier bowl.
Yeah, so we have an international judging panel, male and female. We also have our priority judges, which is a super important job. You know, of course, we just mentioned that priority, yeah, it's come into play a few times, but once we get into the thick of this event, once we get towards the finals, we're going to start to see everything counts.
And
right?
that priority judge cannot take their eyes off the moment.
No.
You know, every movement of water, every movement of the surfer, they're studying everything. Because yes, there may not be a priority situation for you know, half a day, and then suddenly a crunch one happens, and they've got to be ready to catch it.
And it is those split-second things, right? That could change everything. As we see, Maria straight to the nose, extended tube time, quick snap there, like that second turn back up, and that could have been the 6.57.
There was a 6.57 in that wave.
The momentum was building, right? The excitement was building.
Already I felt from the first nose ride, if it had a 10, I was a bit more comfortable. But I loved the snappiness of the turn. And the second nose ride, I was like, wow, this wave is a grower. It's still got a lot of potential. Here it is. She fades. She finds the 5, but this turn here puts her right back in the mix. She really gets deep and snaps it back and goes to the middle part of the wave. And that second touch of the nose, I was thinking, this could be the score she needs. But she takes a fall, so it's not going to change things, and it's going to be difficult now for Maria. It'll be interesting to see if Cash moves over to sit closer to Maria and just kind of coax out the last minute of this heat. But a lot of admiration for the way Cash has managed this heat. Like Sophia, she had like a busy quick start, but, you know, dropped a couple of 3s, recognized she needs something more significant, you know, got that 6.17, and then found Maria overtaking her, needing a fairly low score, and betters that score with that 5.57, and now she can probably sit nice and close to Maria for the last 40 seconds.
This is where priority becomes paramount. You see Cash Hoover come over. She's just going to sit right to the outside of Reyes, and You know, she's going to have an extra look at every wave that comes even towards either one of them.
And that's wise. I mean, Cash, she was only born in 2009. You know, she's one of the youngest competitors, and you know, she's always for the last few years demonstrated an incredible amount of maturity in her heat strategies, and even the way she surfs. You know, there's like it's incredible wisdom in the way that she rides the waves.
And good call to keep Maria off this wave. It definitely had some size to it.
It's a chunky one.
And what a heat. That was a great show. Props to both Cash Hoover and Maria Fernanda Reyes. They went back and forth the entire time, but at the end of it, it's Cash Hoover getting the dub and heading into round 3. So we say goodbye to Maria, but a nicely served heat nonetheless. She'll be back, and we'll be back as well. We're just going to take a quick break. We're going to bring Mitchell and Carla into the booth for more hot log in action. Stay tuned.
Heat number 5 starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, heat number 5 has started. Now out there in the red, we got Mason Sherman. And out there in the blue, from just right down the road, down in South County, so representing Canada, we have Stokes. She's got the whole squad down there. I saw Kate earlier. Oh, look at it. Okay, up with high. The whole Stokes crew. There's a Stokes, and let's say Stoke A. Shout out to you down there, those that are cleaning up the beach. We appreciate you. Good work. Yeah, hopefully there's not too much. We were very on everybody yesterday, making sure everybody left it pretty clean. So hopefully that bag stays light for you. Orlando Stephanie does a good job. Speaking of a good job, right out of the gates up there on the nose. Liv right here. Nice. Not bad, Dave. Nice. Got that right and the nose ride leading into it. Oh, this way, gentle to the inside, Bucky. It's the reform float and just can't ride out on the Bucky Bronco.
The Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico is brought to you by Lexus, experience amazing, and by Board & Brew, keeping it real since '79.
It is Sunday here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing, presented by Pacifico, and that means that the elimination rounds for the longboarders are out there in the water right now. Cash Money Hoover looking good out there in the women's ER so far, getting a big treat when she comes in from the water. Ruby Stringfell also supporting Cash Money right there. Mitchell Salazar here with the founder of the Queen of the Point, Carla Zamora. Carla, waves are looking really fun. Yeah. And of course, we have seen a good amount of consistency throughout the first 2 days of competition when it comes to the waves, but really seems like the pier bowl, not the only available option, I should say, out there on the south side of the pier so far.
No, we've got waves coming from both sides there. They're really utilizing all of the peaks. We're seeing things happening lefts, rights. It's all happening. We had a pretty big set kind of come in there at that end of that last heat, where Cash, as you said, took the win from Maria Fernanda Reyes. So, yeah, Cash kind of made her way in some of the early pro divisions right when we start with Queen of the Point. So it's cool to see her on the big stage.
Well, brand new heat out there in the water right now. Mason Schremer representing the U.S., Liv Stokes from just down the road, and Elisa Viejo represents Canada. And Liv getting a wild card at this event at the Lexus US Open of Surfing once again. Mason, I mean, one of the most talented surfers on the tour. She was number 11 in the rankings last year. She's been, at the top of the rankings for a good portion of her career. And Liv Stokes, I mean, she's represented Canada well at the Pan American Games when it comes to other team events too. But here on the World Longboard Tour has gotten a couple of results, a couple sneaky ones, including last year as well, making it out of this round when it was much different in size. But overall, this is definitely one of her strengths. Competing at beach breaks, tends to surf in Oceanside quite a bit over at both the jetties.
Yeah, she's no stranger to this kind of condition, and I think it even kind of probably fuels her on a bit. She's going to feel excited about this, feel comfortable. And then going against Mason, I mean, definitely no easy feat. Mason's such a beautiful surfer. Both of these ladies super accomplished. Mason, you know, quite the globetrotter, if you will, as we see Liv getting her campaign underway.
Really like that fade right there. Eventually ended up going right, and as soon as I say that, just loses her footing right there. So that's one for me. Check the box. Carla,
Yeah.
you have a couple yourself.
Yeah.
I'm already up to one right now, but Liv, talented surfer, South Orange County, one of our wild cards right here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing. Has a big support crew on the beach once again this year. Both of her sisters, Kate and Claire, mom Dominique on the beach as well, and I think a couple of her students over there at University High School in Irvine. She's a full-time teacher now and has a pretty good nose ride as well.
Yeah, she sure does. It's this turn, she goes into a great cut back there. It's when she brings it back around, you could see all of that rail dig into the water. So a little bit too much weight to the center of the board. Just kind of made it get stuck there, but she's just going to restart. She's got her campaign underway, so you know, she's going to feel good about kind of getting that rhythm going.
So front side, typically you're using, you know, toe side rail most of the time, back side, heel side rail, correct?
Yep, toes, heels. Toes are going to be on that front side, heels on that back side. If you're finding yourself on your backside and you're driving up the face too hard and out the face, that means you're putting too much weight on your heels. Vice versa, if you're facing the forward, you know, hand and you're putting too much on the toes, same thing's going to happen.
I'm writing these things down because they're free, first of all, too. So, okay, get all this info. Mason Schremer, she lived for a good number of years in Noosa, Australia. Been living about the last 6 months over in Ireland. Been surfing a good amount, too. She says that it's been pretty cold for the most part, but some good waves over there on the Irish coastlines. And when it comes to, as you said, being a globetrotter, she's lived in multiple different places over the last few years.
Yeah, I believe she was born in Florida, I think raised in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Then we know that she did schooling and has been kind of the most of her adult, you know, time in Australia, and then now in Ireland. I was pretty surprised to actually hear that. I did not know that. She's a really cool gal to chat with. She's super smart. Got a lot of cool things to say, but doesn't say too much, you know, like only says what's important. So I really appreciate that.
Very courteous, too.
She is. She really is.
Comes from a great family. Saw her sister Lola down here on the beach supporting her, too. So nice to see Lola Schremer on the beach as well. Also a fantastic surfer herself. And Mason, you know, as you said, she's been traveling a lot. She's never lost her U.S. accent, though. And I feel like that's something, you know, difficult to maintain when you're traveling that much, especially living in a place for a good number of years. And I already heard it from Lindsay Steinready. I kind of feel that she's already getting that accent from over there in the southwest of France.
There was a couple little French little twangs in there, right? I noticed that, too. When I was hanging out just briefly with Mason and Bells last year, I did notice there's a few things.
Small kind, yeah.
Yeah. And when you go there, if you spend a considerable amount of time, you can't help but pick up some of the words reckon, you know, heaps when you're in Australia, yeah. But that was Liv there. She got a quick up and down. She's got 3 waves now on her board with a 3.83 and a 3.0 in her scoring run.
I don't know if this is the brand new Takayama that she got, but
if it's the blue one, that looks similar to the one that she normally uses, unless she's gotten a similar color scheme.
But she just got a brand new Michael Takayama. Mike's been busy, by the way, in the shaping bay the entire time. Talking to his son, Kaimana, the other day, he said he's actually backed up with orders, and he's been pretty much in the shaping bay 24/7.
Well, yeah, shout out to Michael Takayama and all of the board builders out there. You know, there's a lot of shapers, but there's very few board builders.
He does everything, start to
finish.
finish.
And he does everything from start to finish. Even my husband commented on the new board. I think he made Avalon, and even from the screen, my husband was like, that board Michael made Avalon, that thing was really nice. The glass job on that, like even from the screen he could tell. So yeah, shout out to all of the board builders, because it is not it's not an easy industry to be in. It's probably the least paid and the least acknowledged, but it's the reason why we're doing what we're doing as we see Mason up and riding.
Her first ride using priority. This is pretty much that rip that we were talking about a few heats ago, where this wave just casually stands up out of nowhere. Struggled to make it to the open face up until right that point, so makes up for it. Well done by Schremer. Good kick out too. Before that used to be actually a counting maneuver back in the day as well.
My dad always used to say, nice kick out, nice kick out. That mattered, man.
Try to do it with your chest puffed out too, just making sure that it's something good, positive. 21 minutes on the clock, big win. She's into round number 3, talking about Cash Hoover. She's on the glass with Rosie.
Yeah, so much fun watching Cash surf, and you had to fight your way through that heat, the lead changing hands there. How did you keep your composure? Because you looked so graceful.
I had a lot of fun. It was definitely better than I thought it was going to be, so that really helped. And it's fun getting to go back and forth, but I'm really happy I got it in the end.
And now talk to me about the 2026 season. This is going to be your full rookie season on this Longboard Championship Tour. How excited are you for this year?
I'm super excited. California is like my second home, so I was really happy to start here. And I'm super excited to go back to the Philippines where I got to qualify, so I'm hoping maybe I could get close to top 12 so I don't have to grind the QS next year.
Definitely someone to watch this season, you guys.
Thank you, Rosie. Congratulations to Cash Money Hoover. Great interview. I mean, she is truly authentic, and love that about her, but fantastic surfer as well. Nearly 12 points with the heat total. She's looking good, and first full season on tour right here for Cash Money.
Yeah, she's got her dad Dirk here and her mom Michelle, always in her court supporting her. Shout out to them. I see Michelle right there. Yeah, so it's cool to have the whole family there. See Cash come up. She's what, 16 years old, 17 maybe?
Yeah.
So one of the younger girls on the playing field, and yeah, she's really one to watch. She's a fierce competitor out there, and yeah, I've watched her work her way up the ranks. She was in their first final actually at the Malibu event, Queen of Point, this year. She'd been waiting to get in the final, finally made the pro event, and unfortunately she can't continue her go because she's got to go visit grandma. And we're going to watch the replay here of Mason in this heat. They've got 19 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock. She's just kind of, like you said, she was trying to find that open face, just kind of get that moment there. Not a lot happening until she's able to kind of get this rebound off the whitewater. She opens up with a 2.5. So just kind of getting her rhythm, getting her feet under her.
So 19 minutes on the clock, competing against Liv Stokes. Mentioned that Liv now a full-time school teacher at University High School in Irvine, so a few minutes away from here, the pier. Tends to surf more in Oceanside, but plenty of beach breaks over there in Oceanside. Super consistent as well. She's also been coaching the JV varsity team for women's tennis. So been traveling for that lately. An accomplished judge. I've been able to work with her, you know, doing pretty much everything. So
and she's an amazing commentator, too.
Yep.
So you get her in the booth here. She's got a lot of really interesting, good things to say. She's very well spoken. She has a lot of excitement and fervor within her.
And of course, a very talented surfer as well. And still looking for her first victory at the World Longboard Tour level. Went over there in Pismo and done well on VB as well. She's up and running again, using priority.
Negotiating that chop, kind of.
Steep drop, too. Good floater right there from Stokes. So not a whole lot on offer for Liv. She's going to kick out, though, looking to improve on a 3-point ride with 18 minutes on the clock. There's the fan club for Liv. Got a big crew this morning. They were down here yesterday and today. That's commitment, Carla.
Yeah, they're taking. I like the signs. You know, we need to see more of the signs and the support. I think it helps with that confidence, just having that, you know, that team behind you.
Well, personally, I'd be framing one of those too. Liv Stokes, #1 fan. That's pretty cool. Looking at the replay here with 17:30 remaining.
Yeah, nice controlled floater there off the whitewater. There wasn't a whole lot of scoring potential into that. It had a bit of chop in it, but she negotiated it pretty well. You could see that chatter on the board there, right? You can see the ribs there as she negotiates it through, but she manages to kind of get that rebound there. I think that was it came in at just a 2.5.
So not a huge deep bottom turn. I think judges really acknowledging that too. There it is. I mean, you got to frame that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how perfect is that heart there? I love Liv Stokes.
Pretty good.
I love Liv Stokes.
It's great
too.
work.
We love Liv.
So you saw right there on the replay, especially with the drop being so steep, a big question, especially on the longboard side, how do you manage speed for the most part, especially at a beach break like this, because it's those small adjustments, right, making it to the open face, being just behind the whitewater. How do you personally manage speed, Carla?
Well, the design of my board tends to be pretty fast, so it's something that I have to actually be pretty mindful of depending on the wave that I'm on. You know, I ride those faster point breaks, so that's kind of what it's designed for, to just really project along the face. So if I were to be surfing out here, I'd have to be pretty mindful. Like we talked about, kind of dropping in almost behind the peak, so I would probably be trying to focus on that because my board would be going so fast. I would be getting to the shoulder too quickly, so I'd have to really keep myself deep. Stalling helps, fading helps.
Oh.
Goodness, those were some great steps to start, but you can really see there's that slight bit of chop that's just kind of almost buckeyeing, you know,
right.
broncoing the gals off. So really kind of like almost grounding themselves in their stance. We might find the girls kind of aiming for a bit wider, a bit bigger stance just to kind of hold their ground. We've got a tide push here. We're going to see a 3.5 foot tide at, let's see, 9:30. That's what we just had. It's 9:53 now. We'll be going down to a low, but you can see between that 3.5 and a 2.7, not a lot of movement. So I feel like it'll feel sort of high tide-ish all day.
And then you have, you know, a pretty higher tide this afternoon,
right.
But at that point, we're pretty much done with the event, too. So not a big difference when it comes to the high that we just passed and the low later on this afternoon, 15 minutes. But it has made for that little rip where they're surfing right now. So at least positioning-wise, it makes things a little bit more available and maybe a bit more observable, too, I should say.
Yeah, I noticed, I was thinking that first heat that we watched, Khalees and Lindsay, they seem to stay more on that pier bowl.
Yep.
And it seems the heat since have kind of been pushing more wide. I haven't really seen them going over to that other side. I'm curious if that's just that not working anymore or just...
Also the mix of swells in the water, too.
Right.
Got to take that into account because the wind swell's dying.
Right.
And then we have those other swells that are coming through. And especially with the southwest that comes through, it is pushing you pretty much straight through the pier the entire time. And I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen that much of a sweep when it comes to conditions today. You normally see that a lot more. See the Sun Ninja tents right there on the beach, keeping you protected from the UVs here on the south side of the Huntington Beach Pier. So far, just a couple of threes for Liv Stokes. She is in the lead with a 3.83 and a 3-point ride. It's Mason Schremer, the surfer representing the U.S. of A, needing 4.33 with more than 14 minutes on the clock in our fifth heat of the women's elimination round. Be right back with the back end. Live music returns to the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico starting on July 31st right here on the south side of the Huntington Beach Pier. Those are headliners Real Estate and A La Las on July 31st. Local Natives and RC Drive on August 1st, and you can scan the QR code to get 2-for-1 tickets. Buy them right now because they are running out quick. Carla and I are already on the wait list, and Fortunately for us, Carla, I think we might
have a few
manage.
strings, maybe
go backstage a little bit, get to hang out with
maybe
the
we might
crew.
know someone.
But get those tickets now. Get your phone out, scan the QR code, and buy them 2 for 1 right here on the south side of the pier. That starts on Friday, July 31st. Heat 5, women's elimination round out there right now. It's still Liv Stokes in the lead against Mason Schremer. Just a couple of threes for Liv so far that have her in first place. Using priority on this one, Schremer had to give way because Liv unconditional right away on that one. Unfortunately for her, that wave just fizzles out. So Schremer with the chance right here to get that 4.33 or better that she currently requires. Before we went to break, we were talking about their positioning. Schremer a bit further south now. Might be working out in her favor. A quick one though. Tough drop to manage and unfortunately loses control.
Yeah, she's definitely not having a moment out there. It's finding to be a struggle for Mason at the moment.
Maybe a double up here on the inside. That's
there was a peak there, wasn't there?
still one of those waves that every now and then that wind swell still brings in. But you have seen those last few sets be a bit larger in size. That is that southwest that we are expecting to be presenting itself later on this week. Liv getting caught inside. She makes it through though.
You know, you can tell Cole had made a comment this morning about the waves being a bit softer though, and you can kind of tell that there's a bit more of a mushiness to the lip as she went through that. It looked a bit hectic, but as she actually kind of like penetrated the wave, it didn't look like it was really as hectic as it appeared.
Soft is the word that he used, right?
Yeah.
He gave me a tide chart a while ago actually, and he broke the swell forecast down as well as anybody will.
Did he give you like a Cole Robbins real estate tide chart?
It's one of those. He was like, "You want a
it.
tide chart?" And I was like, "Sure." And I saw it, and it's very professional looking too. I'm like, "Good marketing."
Is it the old school ones that are like written in like 6-point font? And
Yes.
Like
I'm like so far. I'm keeping that thing in my car the entire time this year. Stokes, 9.5 minutes on the clock. Looking to improve on a 3. Good footwork. Looking to make it to the nose. She won't. She's going to be forced to kick out before that wave doubles up on the inside. So still slim pickings out there when it comes to quality scores, Carla. I mean, you talked about the experience of Liv, though, especially at waves like this, at a break that she knows well, competing here multiple times in the past. She's judged events right here in Huntington Beach before at the WSA and the NSSA level. And of course, being somebody that has been local to the area for the majority of her life, feels comfortable here, but it hasn't been easy to get anything above a 3.83 so far on her behalf. Up and riding again. Touches the 5 and it's brief. That wave just dies down.
Yeah, the wave's just getting really soft on that inside there, unless it's got a bit more height, a bit more push. So I'd say, as much as I'm really into the insiders, I'm a big fan of the insiders and kind of sitting under priorities. Under priority can work. What is it, Liv? Darren Criss couldn't make it, but he wanted me to tell you he's proud of you.
I think Darren Criss is an actor, so maybe like she has a crush on him or something like that.
I have a feeling I might be a little old, perhaps, to know who that is.
That's
I'm clearly not tuned in.
Her sister Claire, by the way, that has that banner too. So maybe an inside joke.
Yeah, for sure.
Great family.
It's always fun to have, like, you know, competition can be so intense and nerve-wracking, and it can bring out a lot of like interesting emotions. But when you can have not just a support crew, but a crew that can kind of like have fun with it, make light of the situation a bit. I went to the Philippines. I did the event. It's like the first event I've done in like maybe a decade, and I had my friends print my face on a bunch of things and have them all stand on the beach with my face, just to have fun with it, you know?
Oh, we should bring that back. Why don't we have that here?
Well, I don't think anybody needs to see my face any more than they already are.
I don't know. I think I'd argue that the Filipino crew downstairs may already be working on that. Might have to text Wendell right now and just be like, okay, we need to get on this soon before finals day. Let's embarrass Carla just a little bit. 7 minutes on the clock. Schremer still searching for the 4.33. Just an observation. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Carla, but I feel like, you know, the Pure Bowl might not be as available, but it just seems like right now with the tide, we just, you know, passed the high tide right now, which isn't a huge one. but it almost seems like there's a better opportunity just to be paddling out all the way from the outside and in getting that speed and the momentum from behind the peak a lot of times. It seems like they've been dropping in pretty late on a good amount of these.
Yeah, it's definitely appearing tricky. I have spoken with a couple of the girls after their heats, and you know, they're finding it a bit of a challenge for sure, and just trying to find those clean waves and the right one to kind of get the work done. There's some rips out there and stuff that seem to be shifting around, and so perhaps the pier bowl is just not really happening right now.
Good work from Schremer right here. She doesn't need a huge score either. So a couple carves right there on the open face. She needs a 4.33. 6 minutes on the clock. Looked a lot more comfortable on that one, though, in comparison to her previous 4 rides. So has plenty of time. Definitely seems like there is a sense of urgency right now with the paddle back out, which is nice to see. I mean, at the end, it is a competition, right? And she has been a staple on tour for a number of years as Liv an event wildcard. You know, she might get offered another one down the line, but got to take advantage of the opportunity right here in front of you. As you can even see right there, Mason was having a look. Say she doesn't get the 4, she was already looking at another wave right there.
So she gets kind of a step and a half there, brings it back into the whitewater there to set back up into the steep part of the wave. Just a little bit of a kind of trippiness, you know, kind of going on her steps there. I think that bump there just kind of giving her a bit of a challenge. It's not going to lock in at a 4.33, I highly doubt. Wasn't really any tip time on there.
Just over 5 minutes priority with Stokes. Schremer still waiting on her score. And more waves coming through. I mean, you can just see those lines. That's that southwest that we've been talking about.
5 minutes remaining.
Going under these waves right here. Haven't seen a whole lot of lefts when it comes to selection in this heat overall.
No, both these girls regular foot, and I think feeling pretty dominant and confident on the rights. So seems like they would probably just stick with what they know, what they care for, you know, what they prefer.
With a lot of swell in the water, though, especially from the south, a lot of those rights are against the grain, meaning that the energy is coming towards you the entire time. You're going against it. Makes things really difficult to read, and usually have those convergences, right, from the left coming into the right, too.
All right, Mason taking a spin, decides not to. We got 4 minutes. We got some lines out on the horizon there, Mitch.
Schremer's broken away. So, still waiting on her previous ride, 4 minutes. Needing a 4.33. Judge is really thinking about it. Could be deciding the heat right here on this last one of Mason.
There we go, but we did once every hour and a half superset. Push a bottle of water to the limit for a little bit.
So priority with Liv, but a good amount of distance in between the two surfers right there. So still needing the 4.33 for the lead. Surfer who was ranked 11th in the world last year on the World Longboard Tour. Liv might have a chance right here, though. This is a good-looking wave. So is Mason. And Schremer's actually going to be... Oh! That one just jacking up real quick. Under priority, though. And that was actually a pretty good left-hander. He's going to be a bit late on it, though. Stokes just now calmly moving over to her opponent. Try to play some defense right here with 3 minutes on the clock. So this seems like a smart tactical move right here on behalf of Stokes.
Yeah, at this point in the game right now, she wants to kind of get close, kind of hang on to her. She knows that Mason can pull that kind of score. It's not a huge score. It's super attainable. So she's going to go ahead and stick tight to her.
Low scoring heat, entertaining. Although I would say for both of these two surfers out there in the water, doesn't mean that it hasn't been stressful for either of them. It's usually even more stressful when you're having a couple of threes as they're two counting scores.
I mean, let's be honest, you don't come to the biggest, greatest contest in the world and want to drop threes.
Right.
You want to be dropping sixes and above. And you know, Red's only looking for a 3.3 to make the heat now. So it's really, really attainable. It's not a huge wave. This could do it if it just lines up correctly.
Well, she's up under 2 minutes now. And
Nice.
Liv let her go on this one. And it was the right call, too, because that wave offered up nothing on the inside.
They start off looking like they're promising, and then it just kind of, like you said, that the cross swell, I think, just pushes against each other and like wedges them up and then kills it, dies it.
Yeah, well, welcome to my QS career, Carla. 90 seconds on the clock right here. Stokes still in first. Her backup score is not strong at all. She's looking to improve on a 3. Found a double up right here. She's going to use priority on it and try to increase her lead. Gets to the 5. Can she maintain that speed? Get a double up on the inside. Sticking with it. Smart surfing so far. Under a minute now. This wave with a lot of importance to it. She needs to stay on her feet and complete it. She does. Looks at her watch. 50 seconds. The crew on the beach likes it. She's going to come in. Call it a heat. So whether she improves on the 3 or not, which seems likely, it's going to come down to Mason getting a chance or not.
It's a risky situation that she's kind of put herself in with, now 30 seconds left, leaving Mason out there not needing a very big score. I mean, anything could happen even with the 25 seconds left remaining. And that's kind of that is what Mason is hoping for.
Well, she slightly improves a 3.23, so that means Schremer now needing a 3.57. 15 seconds, hands need to leave the rail before the buzzer sounds. And she is up.
Similar in size to Liv's last wave. She's got the left. She's got a nice completed nose ride so far.
Wow.
Nice turn.
Oh, she needs to ride out of it, though, and she does. Nearly lost total control of it. This wave offering up a little bit more on the inside. Wow, she's been trailing the entire heat.
This is going to be really interesting, Mitch.
And all of a sudden, on her last wave, seconds before this heat is done and dusted, she is up before the buzzer sounds. So Liv did slightly improve on her last, a 3.23. And it's going to come down to the wire right here. Did Schremer do enough to get a mid-3? Well, it would have to be her best, but not by a whole lot.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm saying she's throwing away the 2.5 for sure. Will it better the 3.5? I mean, she needs to get 3.57.
I'd say without the bobble, there's a guarantee that she's getting
without the bobble.
Yes, and now
with
I think
the bobble, it's an iffy situation, correct?
There's a bit of doubt, but she presented something different too. She went left for the first time in this heat. Really beautiful carve right in there too. All smiles for Liv Stokes. She's got the fat glove on the beach. So here's a replay.
So here's that final wave, seconds remaining. She gets 2 steps, then another 2 steps to the nose, lands it there, is careful there. That's that little bobble there that we saw, but she's able to kind of regain that composure. Another little bobble there, but again, able to hold on, gets into the open face, half a step, brings it back around. It's feeling at least in the 3 range, I feel like, if we compare it to Liv's last 3.2, 3. All right, guys, it's coming in, and it's possible Mason, and with the last moments, squeaks it. She gets the 3.73.
So unanimous right there. Every single judge said that red would be advancing over blue. It's a buzzer beater moment for Mason Schremer. She advances into round number 3 in the dying seconds of heat number 5 of the elimination round. Great sportsmanship right there between the two. Liv Stokes, she's out of the event. We'll probably hear from her later on today. But Mason Schremer through into round number 3. We got heat 6 coming up. Ginger Kaimi taking on Dea Novidasari when we return.
At least there was that.
People out there this morning, finding a couple fun waves before the closeout sets put up. So I think Ginger. Pick an Italian surfer from wearing the red jersey out there, Ginger. 13 years of age. Maybe she's had a birthday, possibly 14, but nonetheless, youngest ever WSL World Tour qualifier for the longboard.
One of the most iconic venues in the surfing world right here at the Huntington Beach Pier. Big thank you to the city of Huntington Beach, and visit Huntington Beach for everything they do right here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing, presented by Pacifico. There's a lot more than just surfing right here in beautiful HB. Support local, go up to Main Street, see all the restaurants, and especially the Sugar Shack, where our very own Bailey Turner surfing in the Challenger Series for the first time in her career right here at home. That'll be later on this week on the south side of the pier. It's Heat 6 of the women's elimination round out there in the water right now. Ginger Kaimi representing Italy in the red, and our first Indonesian surfer on the World Longboard Tour, Dea Novitasari, making her debut on the WLT, Carla.
Yeah, I was able to introduce myself to Dea this morning up in the athlete zone. Just gave her, you know, a couple words of encouragement, let her know that she's a really beautiful surfer and to just keep doing her.
You should do that with me every morning too. I feel like that should be,
Do you need a little pep talk?
every now and then,
okay.
you know. I'm just playing.
I'll find some mantras, some positive mantras to share with you tomorrow.
But Dea, as you said, very kind-hearted. She earned her spot right here too. She qualified through the Asia region, so the first surfer representing Indonesia on the tour.
And similarly to like the Philippines, it's a big deal that, that Dea is in the CT and that she's made it for her country and representing her country. I know she's getting a lot of support, and so there's a lot of pressure that carries with it, just to know that you're kind of carrying your flag.
Ria Waida, one of our CS competitors, also from Bali, is actually in support here of her. I saw her earlier this morning having a chat with Rio, and really awesome to see. And I mean, realistically, when you think about it, we've had the chance to go to that beautiful part of the world, and there's such good waves. It's very consistent, and they don't necessarily have a big desire or need to go out there to compete, because everything's right there, and they have a big part of the industry right now in Indonesia too, specifically in Bali. So it's great to see, personally at least, you know, for them to get out of their comfort zone, want to compete, want to prove themselves, and truly consider themselves the best in the world when it comes to competing. Novitasari, the goofy footer out of Indo, up and riding, going right. Nearly lost it, and she has to bail before that wave closes out. So it's going to be the first scoring wave of this heat, with 25 minutes still remaining on the clock.
Yeah, it's a bit lumpy out there. The girls really having to negotiate those chops just carefully. You know, my advice would be, you know, if I put my coach hat on, it'd be like I said earlier, really ground your feet, get grounded there. Don't let it buck you off. Really show us, you know, leg day. Get that core engaged.
Good luck.
Get the core engaged and really kind of like hunker down and stay on it. But yeah, you can just see how it's just becoming a bit challenging. And you know, for the shortboard, it just, God, they would be just tearing it up, launching off those.
Well, you think that, and then you paddle out, and you're like, where is the wave?
Yeah.
I can't find you. I see you out.
For me, when it's like this, I call it, it's like the 13 lip situation. It's got like 13 lips coming at you, you know, and you can't quite tell where.
Oh, it's even worse when it lands on top of your head, too. It's like 1, 2, 3, and it won't stop.
Not fun. But these girls are making the most of it right now, and as they should and as they need to do, because this is the elimination round. They don't really have any other choice. This is where it's at. And like you mentioned earlier, that we kind of appreciate having the first event be the beach break, because I feel like it doesn't just set the stage having such a big venue, but these aren't perfect waves. And so it really kind of separates the men from the boys, the girls from the women, if you will.
And speaking of a big win right there, we saw it in the last heat as we see the goofy footer representing Italy right here, Ginger Kaimi up and riding. Does well to recover momentarily. And the surfer that lives in the Canary Islands has to deal with a lot of power over there in that part of the world too. 23 minutes on the clock, come from behind when literally in the dying seconds, Rosie. Mason Stremmer, she is through.
Definitely clutch from Mason, but we were just touching on the fact that heat was incredibly stressful. How did you manage that? And then also those nerves, managing that on that last wave to get the score and win the heat.
Yeah, it was so stressful the last 15 minutes of that heat. But I think just I don't know, kind of not like talking to myself a little bit, being like, I can surf, I've surfed enough heats, I know what to do. It's just kind of trying to find that one wave, and there's so many random weird little peaks out there. You can kind of turn, the more you try to look at them, the more opportunities I guess you get to get one. That's good.
It definitely looks tricky out there, but as we look ahead to the round of 16, is there anything that you're going to change going into the rest of the event and use this momentum moving forward?
I think just trying to be a little more have a little more belief that something's going to come, and just trying not to sit for too long, especially at Huntington is always good, just because there's so many, again, so many little peaks. But yeah, just kind of keep it moving from here on out.
All the best in the round of 16.
Thank you, Rosie. Congrats, Mason. It's good words of encouragement right there, especially after she came in. Last 15 minutes, I was really struggling. It happened at the end. Now the main thing is just don't be sitting around, and that can become something, not to use the word complacent, but you might just be thinking that it's only going to break in a certain area of the beach break. There's multiple peaks here available.
Yeah, you heard in her interview, she was kind of even doubting about the self-talk that, I was talking about. Yeah, you were talking to yourself, as you should, Mason. You should talk to yourself out there. Pump yourself up. Give yourself that motivation, that belief, that you've got it, because you're here for a reason. And so, while it can be a struggle out there, you just got to kind of keep in the moment. She's so well-spoken. I really like the way she articulates her thoughts and stuff. So it's great to see her, being able to snatch it just in those final moments. Unfortunate for Liv, because, of course, we would love to see her keep going as well.
That self-talk that you're mentioning, do you say it out loud, or is it just internal the majority of the time?
I think it could be either or. I mean, a lot of it, I think, is more internal. But I've had myself be out there, and I'll say it out loud, whether it's intentional or not. I'm like, wait, did I just say that out loud? But, sometimes you got to. You have to hear that voice sometimes and have it kind of come out of your body, hear it come back at you.
And you need to vocalize it every now and then, right? Because there's the true release. I mean, when you're truly verbalizing things, as we see Ginger Kaimi right here, young teenager representing Italy, lives in the Canary Islands, and surf some amazing waves over there. No stranger to competing worldwide. Saw her at the Mexilog Fest at my OG hometown in Mazatlan earlier this year. Traveling here with her father, and just an amazing person, super young, still in her mid-teens, and the fact that she's able to qualify for the tour is not only sensational. They're going straight from this event into the Board Riders event over at Newquay right afterwards in England, so it's a big tour for them, a big leg, but then they have the big break afterwards heading into Bells in early December.
Yeah, she's probably one of the most competitive or busy in competition young women I've ever met. She's always in a jersey. It seems like every other month she's competing.
Energetic, too.
And I guess now's the time, as she's got the energy and she's got the drive.
So the first time we've ever seen somebody from Indonesia qualify for the World Championship Tour, that was a few years ago, the Olympian Rio Waida, and now he's in support of Dea Novidasari, AJ.
That's exactly right, Mitch. I am actually here with the entire Indo support crew, Dea's brother and friend and coach, also here, part of the Board Riders Club. But Rio, you're getting a chance to watch a fellow Indonesian surf here on the World Longboard Tour. Just give us some of your impressions of Dea's surfing.
No, it's good to see Indonesia in the World Tour. I kind of rare to see longboard, but now she's in the tour, so I'm kind of more interested with longboard. I've been learning from the boys how to score the waves and stuff. But no, it's beautiful. Longboard is totally different surfing with shortboard. You know, it's more like walking on the boards, dancing on the waves. So no, it's beautiful sports, and I'm sure they are inspired a lot of Indonesian longboarders, and I hope many more. But besides there's like JR and the other Filipinos guys. It's really cool Filipinos in the world tour, and I just love supporting any Asian surfers in the world tour. So it's good to be here.
Well, and you're back here in Huntington for the first time since 2022. We're going to see you in a few days during the Challenger Series. How have you been getting in the reps here at Huntington to prepare for that?
No, it's a tricky waves. I don't know. It's been a while since did the Challenger, so I'm kind of struggle with the boards and the size of the waves. But at the same time, it's great. I feel really grateful for the opportunity to get better, and then I love competing, so I'm just really grateful to be here. And I guess I don't know. It's feel fresh, you know, because I feel like I've been in the tour for 4 years. I feel like I need something fresh, so I'm happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. Can't wait to see you surf in a few days, and we'll let you get back to rooting on Dea.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. That is number 21 on the World Championship Tour rankings. Currently number 30 on the CS, one of the hardest working men on the World Championship Tour. Rio Waida, we'll be seeing him compete here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing in just a few days once the CS starts. In support, though, of Dea Novedasari, and as he said, pretty new to admiring longboarding himself, but I mean, surfing in the end, right? So you can truly appreciate things out there in the ocean.
He was super on point, though, with his insight, saying that how longboarding was different, and how he was explaining that you walk on the board and you dance on the board, and that is the biggest difference. We move across our surfboards in order to engage and disengage it with the wave, whereas the shortboard, you stay in one place and you move the board within the wave itself, and you don't really like move around on it. So it was really it was insightful from the shortboarder.
Well, that's one of the best you know, on the planet. So for him to be able to say that, and you know, truly mention the admiration that he has for other disciplines as well, I think, you know, something that we should see a lot more. And I think the crossover is great. Personally, we have a lot of surfers that are dual athletes in the event too. Story Martinez being one of them. She actually double finaled at US Champs a few months ago at lower trestles. I want to say she got second in both the U14s and the 16s at lowers. Kai McPhillips had an excellent shortboarding career, now really taking up longboarding very well. Of course, his dad Colin, one of the all-time greats on the men's side too, but for the most part, these are water men and water women, Carla. I mean, they know how to do a bit of everything.
Yeah, well, we spoke about, you know, riding equipment for the waves that are conducive for it. And so most of them they have a quiver being, you know, multiple surfboards, as I mentioned, for different conditions, and they're going to be riding those wherever they feel, you know, it's best suited.
Just under 16 minutes on the clock. Last Kaimi comes through as a 3.17. That is the best of the heat so far. Dea's last a 2-point ride. Her high mark of the heat needing just a 2.18, but that is considering that Kaimi only has a 1 as a backup. Well, Italy also has representation on the Championship Tour. Leo Fioravanti, he is currently ranked number 1 on the Men's Championship Tour side out of Fuerteventura, Canary Islands, where she calls her home, but proudly represents Italy. Beautiful nation, not a whole lot of surf, and that's why you typically see a lot of Italians, a lot of Europeans, that said too, do travel a lot internationally. Not a huge amount of consistency over there in that part of the Mediterranean. And she is up and riding on another left, looking for the floater, and nearly had it under control. I like the approach, though, making those adjustments, and if the waves are closed out and you need to get a score, might as well go for it, Carla.
No, it was good. I think a little bit more weight. She's just a small girl. She just didn't quite have the weight to kind of keep that board down, and maybe a step forward would help next time. But yeah, really good approach. I liked the approach as well.
Presenting something different towards our judges. 14 minutes and 20 on the clock. She is still in the lead. Another European coming up on our next heat. It's Alice Lemoine taking on Christy Gilmore when surfing returns to Huntington Beach.
We're going once again. Here we go. Gia up there for the 5. Something going on that I peaked around 2.25.
One of the most beautiful places on the planet. It is Portugal, and we have VIP thermal experiences. Scan the QR code to visit that experience over there in Peniche. Later on this October, the fall is beautiful in Portugal. We got plenty of waves, and you can get a total VIP experience if you scan the QR code and book those tickets now. That'll be coming up in the month of October in Peniche. Back to Huntington Beach, though, for Heat 6 of the women's elimination round out there at the moment. Dea Novidasari took the lead off of Ginger Kaimi on her last two rides. Ginger with the answer back, though. Just under 12 minutes on the clock right now. She needs at least a 3.34. If Novidasari doesn't improve on her last one, try to tag that last section at the end, but unfortunately incomplete. So hasn't broken anything better than a 3 at the moment, Carla. She's really struggled to get out of that poor average range when it comes to the score lines. And given conditions are not easy, but there's still chances out there right now as Dea has gotten her two best back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was during the break that Dea managed to get down, score down a 4.5. So that's put her into the lead right now. Ginger looking for a pretty minor score, 3.34. You see her take this wave here. It's like almost not even a wave right away, but then it forms up into one as it brings it into the inside. She gets the steps up, brings it back around. She's got that kind of classic cut back where she really whips it around, uses her hands. Neither of the girls, they're both having a hard time really staying glued onto their board at the end of the wave. We watch the replay here of a left for Dea. I think I think she got a 3.03 on this one. So she's starting to really feel the groove now. I love it. I really like her style. It's very dance-esque to me, the way she keeps her hands kind of at her sides. But remember I was talking about the fingertips? And she goes through her fingertips. Now this is the 4.5, I believe, that she got during the break. You see the toes that were over the nose there. And then that rebound too, and she manages to stay glued on there. So that is why she was able to kind of get that 4.5. But I just got to give a shout out to ladies. Let's stay on the boards at the end there, please.
Much easier said than done, though, right? I mean, because it's still tough.
Yeah.
I like it, though. Hey, you're doing your job. Encourage them.
I got it. That's why I'm here, right?
Yeah.
We're here to kind of give gentle critiques as well. I'm a surfer too. I know how to do it. And I was talking to actually Kat Slatinsky last night, and we were both making the comment that it was something that was bothering both of us, that this desire to just kind of jump off the board, and both of us don't understand why it wouldn't be easier, which it is,
just to kick out?
Step on the tail. Well,
oh yeah.
So when you're in the whitewater and you're already going straight, you often can't get over the whitewater. But if you just step on the tail and stall it into the whitewater, you're still on the board. You can whip it back around. You're not having to catch it again or bring it back to you. So the whole jumping thing is, I really want us to remove that, ladies.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I mean, if you hadn't already guessed. Don't jump off.
Only counter argument there maybe is that the fin might hit the sand on the shore break right there.
Sure.
Potentially do that. But
I'm still saying then you're sitting down then.
That's true.
You're never jumping off.
Or truly just kick out like that right there.
I don't consider that a kick out.
Oh, really? So the board has to go beyond you is what you're saying.
The board needs to kick out over the wave.
Okay.
That was a body kick out. Her body went over. She threw her body over the wave.
I like this. I like this.
So I want to see, really, ultimately, we want like the flyaway kick out, right? Where they
you want to go old school.
Kick it, and they and it flips and flies.
You either do it well or don't do it at all is what you're saying.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually felt during my own journey, I was hanging 10 better than I could kick out. And I don't know if that was it was before my switch and being backside and always surfing rights. It's a bit harder to get your big longboard up and over the wave. But I remember thinking that early on, being like, wow, I can really nail a 10, but I can't do a kick out for the life of me. So yeah, work on those kick outs, peeps.
Just under 8 minutes on the clock. It is a close heat out there right now. 7.53 to 7.5. And looking at our heat check with every single wave, looking at the scores, the top ones from the judges out of the two surfers too. Pretty clear that Novodosari has had the best wave of the heat so far, the 4.5 in comparison to the 4.33. But you look at the backups, nearly identical. 303 to 317. Tight scoring so far in this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, the total there, a 7.53 and a 7.5 for their heat totals. So super narrow margin there with 7 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock. Ginger's sitting in priority, so that's kind of where she would want to be in order to try to have the first pick-ins here as she goes on this left, gets the fast steps to the nose, just negotiating it back in there as it kind of comes at her from the other angle.
Well, and grabbing those rails, they typically don't like that either, right? Loss of control?
Generally speaking, no. As far as scoring goes, no, we don't want that. As a coach, as a surfer, as someone that's like, hey, keep the board under you, then go ahead and grab the rail if that's going to make that happen.
And you can see that asterisk right there. That means that there is a wave coming through for Ginger Kaimi as well. So pretty much what you see with the heat check, that's kind of what the judges are looking at right there on their screen.
Exactly.
And if you actually see the score lines, the American judges actually have Ginger winning so far in this one, and that's the difference between surfing and a lot of other sports that are generally appreciated through scores is that with a panel of 5 judges, you still throw out the high and the low, but the averages don't necessarily reflect what one person would have on their own scorecard.
Well, and that's just to kind of like keep things fair and equitable as far as, some judges tend to kind of be heavy on their scores and kind of lean on them, and then others will be light on their scores, and so that just kind of like evens the playing field out. It doesn't give any specific weight to one side or the other.
And you want to maintain that scale throughout the entirety of the day, right? Of course, conditions change. You need to adjust too, but 9 days, that's also a lot of waves that you're looking at and scoring so far throughout the event. Lhasa Kaimi right here, she's needing a low 3 for the lead.
Yeah, the first part of that wave with the fast footwork and the nose ride was definitely, showed a lot of skill set, but there just wasn't a lot in the latter half of the wave. So we'll see how it comes in. You mentioned she only needs a 3.21, so it's not a difficult score to attain. Looks like she may just squeak the score here. It's starting to drop.
Going to be pretty close at the moment.
It's going to be tight, yeah.
And in a critical part of the heat, too, just over 5 minutes on the clock, and it comes through, and it's a 3.5, so just enough for the lead. Now Dea in second, needing a 3.333 or better.
Well, she knows she can already attain that score. She's already gotten a 4.5, Dea. So she's just going to try to line things up and hope that the right wave comes her way.
I like this approach, though. Paddling back out, right on the pier bowl, hangs the 5 for a good part of this wave, too. Brings it back down, and, she improved on her previous ride. Might even be another improvement right here, too, Carla, as a very smart and savvy veteran move, per se, too, by the youngster representing Italy here in Kaimi.
Yeah, I mean, she was already over on that corner. There was no need for her to paddle all the way over where Dea is. She's kind of found a system here where she's using that current and going underneath the pier and getting herself back out. So this is one of the first heats since that first heat that we've seen somebody kind of dabbling back in the bowl again.
Just over 4 minutes. You see Novodosari right there on screen, getting the info relayed by the beach announcers, and Rio and the crew on the beach also giving her some instructions. Move in. You need to be on a wave, and soon.
Sometimes the more intense position is to be the person on the beach.
Oh.
And you're like chomping at the bit, and you want to give directions, and you want to give advice, and you're just hoping it all comes together.
We need to have our lifeguards like on hand at any time, because it almost seems like there's a good amount of heart attacks by a lot of these, you know, camps that we have on the beach a lot of times. 4:07, the last of Ginger. She extends her lead. That means Dea now needing a 3.9, so pretty much a 4-point ride or better. She does have priority though. The goofy footer representing Bali, Indonesia. Great surfer, and as you said, you attained it once within the heat. That means you can do it once again. She's looking for a specific waves, it seems, though. I mean, you can just see by the way her board is angled towards the pier, looking north, potentially looking for a left. Love this intensity, though. I mean, you got to give a lot of props to the young surfer representing Italy. She's going out there and she's truly competing well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that she's been practicing. They train regularly. She loves it. It's in her blood, you know. She really, I think, thrives off of all of that energy, and so yeah, she's really making the most of it here at the Lexus US Open of Surfing. Biggest venue she's going to probably come across this year.
You ever imagine competing here on the south side of the pier when you were 14, 15 years old?
No. I never really. Well, I wasn't really competing when I was 14, 15. I was just starting to pick up. Like, my dad grew up surfing. I knew how to surf, but I didn't care about surfing until I was about her age, because it was my dad's thing, and he wanted me to do it too bad. So, of course, I'm an Aquarius. So of course, I didn't want to. So I had to be my idea. When I was about 14, it became my idea, and I wasn't quite. My dad wanted me to compete. I was good pretty soon, you know, pretty quickly, but I had a very high expectation. I didn't want to compete until I felt like I could maybe win, you know, so.
Well, maybe she has that own self-belief at this age enough, and I mean, you can easily see it in the way she paddles for waves and the intensity that she brings when she hears a score. I mean, she took the lead on her last 3 rides, so she's gotten actually 3 good rides in a span of about 5 or 6 minutes now. So with 90 seconds now on the clock, it's going to come down to whether or not Dea in the blue is able to get that 3.9 or better. It's the first day. I mean, I know it's only the second day of the period so far, but at this point of the day yesterday was already a bit sunny. Still overcast right now. It's 10:39 local time.
Hey, I'm taking it. I'm here for it right now. It's been really hot. I'm okay with the little bit of the overcast. I have my sweater on. I can kind of, you know, we're chilling.
Shorts and slippers kind of guy every day, so you get the sun out and I'm usually here at the beach.
But it's still plenty warm to have.
It is, yeah. Just saying, you know, a little bit of sun might be nice too. 50 seconds on the clock. Here goes Dea. Might be her last ditch effort. Has to, we call that petting the kitty. Usually don't like that, the judges do. Gets the 5 though, but that wave.
Just a struggle to stay in.
No scoring potential really either. There's Ketut Tagus, Rio Waida, and the great Indonesian crew we have here on hand in support of Dea. Might have a double up though. Paddling back out. Well, she's got a chance. 20 seconds, she's up, this wave counts. Has to do something substantially better than what we've seen with the 4s in this heat though, and it ain't gonna be it. This heat done and dusted, and Ginger Kaimi come from behind wind right here for the young prospect out of Italy.
Yeah, really smart surfing from her. I think breaking away from Dea, kind of coming over to the pier bowl, was definitely advantageous. We talked about it in the last heat. We're kind of wondering what would happen over there, and now we know.
And a veteran move, I should say, too, for the young surfer as well. Reading the room, per se, you know. In this moment, what kind of decision should I be making? And seems like really somebody who's really adjusted so far in the few years that she's actually had on tour. She's on to the round of 16, and a win over the rookie Dea Novidasari for Ginger Kaimi has done that for her. More action coming up. We're going to have a special guest join Chris and Sam when we return to the Lexus US Open of Surfing.
Welcome back to the Lexus US Open of Surfing, presented by Pacifico. Log enthusiasts, rejoice. We've got more surfing entering the lineup. Coming in victorious, Ginger Kaimi. Great performance there, and more to come in round 3 for Ginger. And we've got a special guest. Bucky's back in the booth. Welcome back to the booth, Bucky.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for having me.
Sam Bleakley is here as well. I'm Chris Cote, and we're very excited to bring you these next few heats because we know the importance of making it through this round. Of course, to start your 2026 season, you need a big result here to keep the pace that's going to be set by the elite.
Yeah, absolutely. I was saying, Bucky, earlier on the broadcast that with all 3 results counting to get to El Salvador for the top 12, you've really got to get at least a 9th. You've got to get through this round.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday with only the 3 events. You really don't have